Will now be recorded.
Sir, we are going on live. Welcome to Dr. TSPR show. Neen me Dr. Tangella Shivaprasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello. First, let me introduce guests because this show is such that I need to introduce guests first. I have people analyst Donti Reddy Narasimha Reddy from Hyderabad, Mr. Dr. Jagannath Chatterjee from Orissa, and I have Dr. Samba Reddy from United States of America, Texas. Welcome to the special show, sir. I'll give you a brief description so that we'll not waste much of the time. Across India and cutting across the borders, the entire world is looking for an innovative methods to overcome corona, the COVID-19. Is it possible? Because various medicines were suggested, advised, various protocols were brought in by WHO, every country. As usual, the World Health Organization, in consonance with China, they have allowed this virus to spread across, and they have taken that credit also. We will give credit of this pandemic to World Health Organization. God bless them. Now after that, country after country, whether it is their Directorate of Health or whatever you can say, Ministry of Family or Health and Family Welfare or ICMR like institutions in India, all these medical research organizations, they are one and the same when it comes to the protocols, because they are so confused. They do not know how to get hold of this. We have seen that in lockdown periods also. Narasimha Reddy Garu was there with me. We were cracking our heads. These fellows are flying blind. When we said it will run into lakhs, after our show we received some comments. They were laughing at us. But you see now the state of India. World is also no better. Though some countries try to hide, and like our states in India, except Kerala and Andhra Pradesh, and to some extent Maharashtra, and to some extent maybe Rajasthan in initial phases, and Delhi for that matter, I don't see any other state in India vigorously pursuing those 3 T's. You have to test, test, test. Until and unless you test, you do not know where the virus is, in which condition the virus is. That 14 days incubation period which you call, that quarantine which is usually reflected as, you do not know in which stage of the virus in that particular locality is. So once you test, the treatment becomes the protocol, and once the treatment comes into play, you can quarantine them, and subsequently you can start tracing them. మొదటి నుంచి కూడా చెప్పుకుంటూ వస్తూ ఉన్నాం. ప్రపంచమంతా కూడా ప్రపంచ ఆరోగ్య సంస్థ వారు చైనాతో కలిసి ఈ మహమ్మారిని యావత్ ప్రపంచానికి స్ప్రెడ్ అయ్యేటట్టు లేక వ్యాప్తి చెందడానికి కారకులైనారు. గాడ్ బ్లెస్ దెమ్ అన్నాం మనం, వారిని బాగా చూసుకోడు కాక. వారు ప్రోటోకాల్స్ ప్రతిసారి చేంజ్ అవుతూ వచ్చాయి. ట్రీట్మెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్లో కానీ, వ్యాధి నివారణకు కానీ, వ్యాధి దీనికి కానీ చేంజ్ అవుతూ వచ్చాయి. తద్వారా మనకు ఎక్కడ లేని తీవ్రమైనటువంటి ఇబ్బందులకు కూడా మనం లోన్ అవుతూ ఉన్నాం. అదే కాకుండా మళ్ళీ కొత్తగా వ్యాక్సిన్ ట్రయల్స్ అని పద్ధతి, అంటే దాంట్లో స్టేజ్ 1, స్టేజ్ 2, స్టేజ్ 3 ఉంటాయి. దాని ప్రకారమే నిజంగా ఈ మహమ్మారిని అడ్డుకుంటున్నామా అనే ప్రస్తావన కూడా వస్తూ ఉంది. కాబట్టి August 15th రిలీజ్ అన్నారు. మనం ఆ రోజు షో చేయంగానే అది వెనకాలకు పోయింది. కానీ దురదృష్టం ఏంటంటే ఐఎమ్ ట్రైంగ్ టు రన్ ICMR's directive of July 2nd. You say all protocols can be put aside for the sake of the trials of vaccine. We welcome it. But how can you decide on the date? What is that nonsense? That is where we were trying to bring in. ఎందుకంటే people have to understand that vaccine is going to stay with their body, within the body lifetime, whereas a medicine is the one which treats them for that particular period. దిస్ హ్యాస్ టు బి బోర్న్ ఇన్ మైండ్. వ్యాక్సిన్ అనేది, టీకా అనేది ఒక్కసారి మీరు తీసుకుంటే జీవితకాలం మీతోనే ఉంటుంది. మందులు మీరు వ్యాధికి ఏదైతే మీరు వ్యాధిని ఇచ్చేయడానికి ట్రీట్మెంట్ కానీ చికిత్స కానీ తీసుకుంటారో ఆ వ్యాధి చికిత్స అది ఎక్కడి వరకే ఉంటుంది. టీకా జీవితకాలం మీ వెంటనే ఉంటుంది. ఒకవేళ టీకా కానీ వ్యాక్సిన్ కానీ ట్రయల్స్ సరిగ్గా జరగకపోతే దాని పరిస్థితి భయానకంగా ఉంటుంది. ఈ మహమ్మారి కరోనా కంటే అత్యంత భయానకంగా ఉంటుంది అనేది సత్యం, నిత్యం సత్యం. దట్ ఈస్ ది ట్రూత్. ఇఫ్ those trials are not properly done and you have been vaccinated, believe me, that is going to cause more damage than the corona pandemic. Hence, we are straight away getting into the discussion. Let me start with people analyst Dontireddy Narasimha Reddy garu before I come to Samba Reddy garu and then Chatterjee garu. Reddy garu, Narasimha Reddy garu. Last time show tarvata at least government went back. Now again they have started to do the same. It is.
Thank you. I think 2-3 points I'll bring into discussion. Maybe we can have a round of discussion again. Primarily, when people are talking about vaccine trials, there is a promise of a solution to COVID 2019, that is SARS-CoV-2. But my fundamental question is, when scientists themselves are saying we have not yet understood how SARS-CoV-2 is behaving and it is continuously mutating, and it's there are now different types of SARS-CoV-2 in each of the countries. In Spain it is different, and in India we're talking of 2-3 types of SARS-CoV-2, and in US it is different. In China now there is a talk about Wuhan type of SARS-CoV-2 and different other types. So basically the knowledge base of this virus, which pandemic which we are discussing, I think it is very, very thin. And I'm not sure how vaccines are being developed on this thin base of knowledge. Second issue is, if you look at the literature being given out on vaccine trials themselves, each one is trying to look at different kind, but ultimately they are talking about immunity in the body. Now immunity response, they are trying to trigger that immunity response using different types of methods. Now the here issue is what is the safety of these triggers which are being used. If you are shortcutting the trials, which would have taken as the vaccine experts themselves say 6 to 7 to 8 years, to just 6 days, 7 days, or 30 days. What is the safety, and who is going to talk about those biosafety issues within the body, and then probably once that side effects or virulence triggers from that kind of vaccine. So I think that is still not being discussed. And 3, I'm very concerned how Indian media is so gungo about what is happening. In fact, yesterday, if you look at Covaxin being prepared in India, yesterday they started trials in Hyderabad. And today, and of course, yesterday itself I have seen in one channel, they said phase 1 trials are successful and permission has been given. And today I see another newspaper saying trials have been successful already. Yesterday, one NIMS hospital, they had only 2 patients. They are given vaccine trial for 2 patients. They should go to 60 patients. And overall, I think we are talking about some 120 patients to be tested, healthy patients. And within a day, media declares that there is a success and we have already a vaccine. That's in the case of this Bharat Biotech-led vaccine. So media role, I suspect why they are trying to push vaccines as a solution without any scientific basis or without any knowledge of the regulatory regimes. We are not talking about bureaucratic regime. We are talking about scientific regime which is in place for vaccine trials. And those regimes are not being discussed at all. When there is a promise and that promise is being repeated every day, every hour by every media house, I think I don't know why media has gone overboard about this. Even earlier, when you are looking at the drugs trials, remdesivir or other Fabiflu or other drugs, even there, we see big banner headlines that this is a solution which has come already. But in fact, the company says, even the government says, they are testing. So we are becoming experimental scapegoats, and that's not being discussed. I think that's what we need to discuss now. Just because some media house and because some pharma giants decide, I don't think that's the way we need to go, because the current situation, the current pandemic, there is a section of science which says, in fact, this is a result of that same kind of negligence and same kind of putting profits above the science. I think that from those conditions, we have seen the emergence of earlier SARS, MERS, and now SARS-CoV-2. And we are again repeating the same kind of situation. So now because of when we look at SARS-CoV-2 and the science which says it is the most dangerous virus, and we are just tinkering like children with that, and we are promising poor gullible people that a solution is already there. That's one thing. On the other hand, we are not discussing the other methods of immunity development or immunity response. I think there are hundreds of other solutions. If immunity boosting or immunity itself is going to solve the problem, there are other methods. Why those methods are not being researched upon, and why tests are not being done on those kinds of methods? I think these are the questions before us.
Definitely. You have rightly put some questions. I think Mr. Samba Reddy, I'll come back to Mr. Chatterjee. First, let me go to Mr. Samba Reddy from Texas, who was not being heard by media, as you rightly said. Mr. Narasimha Reddy is one gentleman who has got the eternal knowledge, and still he has been shunned by the media. Samba Reddy, how do you look at the scenario of trials?
నమస్కారం అండి, డాక్టర్ శివప్రసాద్ రెడ్డి గారు, అండ్ మీకు ధన్యవాదములు నాకు ఈ ఛాన్స్ ఇచ్చినందుకు. సో నేను క్లినికల్ ఫార్మసిస్ట్గా ఒక ప్రొఫెసర్ ఆఫ్ మెడిసిన్గా టెక్స్ A&M మెడికల్ కాలేజీలో పనిచేస్తున్నాను. గత 20 సంవత్సరాలుగా అమెరికాలో ఉంటున్నాను. సో ఈ కోవిడ్ పరిస్థితులను చాలా క్షుణ్ణంగా పరిశీలిస్తున్నాను. ఎప్పటికప్పుడు వ్యాసాలు రాస్తున్నాను. తర్వాత మీడియా ద్వారా మా స్టూడెంట్లకి, యూనివర్సిటీకి, అఫీషియల్స్కి ఎప్పటికప్పుడు లెక్చర్స్ ద్వారా తెలియజేస్తున్నాను ఏం జరుగుతుంది అనేది. నేను ఒక ఫార్మాస్యూటికల్ సైంటిస్ట్ బేసికల్గా. అంటే నేను డే అండ్ ఇన్ అండ్ అవుట్ ఎవ్రీ డే మేము ఫార్మాస్యూటికల్ రీసెర్చ్ చేస్తున్నాం. మందులు కనిపెట్టడం ఎలా, టెస్టింగ్ చేయడం ఎలా, వాటిని మానవాళికి ప్రవేశించడం ఎలా అనేదే నా ముఖ్య కెరీర్ గోల్ అనమాట. అది చేస్తున్నాను 20 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకు వచ్చిన డిస్కషన్ ఏంటంటే, ఈ మహా ఉత్పాతం, ఈ కరోనా వైరస్ ఏదైతే ఉందో, ప్రపంచ మొత్తం ఒక వ్యాక్సిన్ గురించి వెయిట్ చేస్తున్నది. ఎందుకంటే ఇక మనకు తెలిసిపోయింది దీనికి ప్రస్తుతానికి మందులు లేవు కాబట్టి ఉన్న మందులు అంత గొప్పగా పనిచేస్తున్నట్టుగా కూడా మనకు పెద్దగా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ రావట్లేదు. ఇంకా టెస్టింగ్ జరుగుతున్న నేపథ్యంలో వ్యాక్సినే ఒకటే సొల్యూషన్ అనేది చాలా బలంగా వినిపిస్తున్న వాదం. అండ్ గవర్నమెంట్లు కానీ పబ్లిక్ హెల్త్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ కానీ ఇప్పుడు మనం అంతా లాక్డౌన్ మోడ్లోనే ఉన్నాము కాబట్టి వ్యాక్సిన్ కోసమే ఎదురు చూస్తున్నారు అందరూ. వ్యాక్సినే అల్టిమేట్ సిల్వర్ బుల్లెటిన్ అనే ఒక ఒపీనియన్, అది సైంటిస్టులు ఇచ్చిన ఒపీనియన్ ఏం కాదు, కానీ ఆ ఒపీనియన్ ప్రజల్లోకి వాళ్ళకి వచ్చింది. అంటే వ్యాక్సిన్ వస్తేనే మనం మళ్ళీ సేఫ్గా తిరగలుగుతామేమో అని. సో వ్యాక్సిన్ ఫస్ట్ 3 క్వశ్చన్లు అండి. ఇంతకుముందు డాక్టర్ నరసింహారెడ్డి గారు చెప్పినట్టుగా 3 క్వశ్చన్లు. ఒకటి ఏంటంటే యాక్చువల్లీ శాస్త్రీయంగా అంటే మీకు ఇప్పుడు తెలంగాణలో ఏం జరుగుతుంది, ఇండియాలో ఏం జరుగుతుంది, నేను డే టు డే న్యూస్ ఏం పరిశీలించట్లేదు. మెయిన్గా టీవీలో వచ్చిన వార్తలు మాత్రమే వింటున్నాను. ఎన్ని నంబర్స్ వస్తున్నాయి, ఎంతమంది చనిపోతున్నారు అనేది మాత్రమే చూస్తున్నాను. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను చెప్పే శాస్త్ర సాంకేతిక ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఇది నాట్ ఓన్లీ యూఎస్, వరల్డ్ వైడ్ నుంచి వచ్చే ఇన్ఫర్మేషనే నేను క్రోడీకరించి చెప్తున్నాను. సో ఫస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ప్రశ్న ఏంటంటే అసలు వ్యాక్సిన్ రాగలుగుతుందా, అంటే వ్యాక్సిన్ సాధ్యమేనా అనేది క్వశ్చన్. సో దానికి నా ఆన్సర్ ఏంటంటే బేస్డ్ ఆన్ నేను లాస్ట్ 130 days చేసిన రీసెర్చ్ ప్రకారం అయితే వ్యాక్సిన్ సాధ్యమే. సో దానికి కాల పరిమితి అనేది మనం చెప్పలేము. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం ఇది కొత్త వైరస్, మనకు 140 days ముందు వచ్చిన వైరస్. ఇప్పుడు మనకు ఎంత నాలెడ్జ్ ఉందంటే ఈ వైరస్ గురించి ఓన్లీ 140 days తెలుసు. కొన్ని బ్యాక్టీరియా, కొన్ని వైరస్లు మనకు 20, 30, 100 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి తెలుసు. అయినా వాటికి మనం వ్యాక్సిన్ కనిపెట్టడంలో అంత సఫలం కాలేదు. ఎయిడ్స్ వైరస్ తీసుకోండి, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ డెంగ్యూ వైరస్ తీసుకోండి, చికెన్ గునియా వైరస్ తీసుకోండి మనకి ఇండియాలో. సో వాటన్నిటికీ అవి ఫాస్ట్ మ్యూటేటింగే. ఈ ఫాస్ట్ మ్యూటేటింగ్ వైరస్ కు వ్యాక్సిన్ కనిపెట్టడం అనేది అంత సులభం కాదు. అట్లా అని చెప్పి అసాధ్యం కూడా కాదు. ఎందుకంటే ఈ కరోనా వైరస్ కు ఒక పెక్యూలియర్ ప్రాపర్టీ ఉంది. ఏంటంటే ఇది రబ్బర్ బాల్ లాగా ఉండి దీని పొర మీద స్పైక్ గ్లైకోప్రోటీన్స్ అనేది ఉంటుంది అన్నట్టు. అంటే దీని ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ కి సెన్స్ చేసేది ఒక గ్లైకోప్రోటీన్ మాత్రమే. సో ఇప్పుడు అందరూ ఆ గ్లైకోప్రోటీన్ మీదే ఫోకస్ చేస్తున్నారు, దాదాపుగా 160 కంపెనీస్. సో ఈ గ్లైకోప్రోటీన్ ద్వారానే వ్యాక్సిన్ తయారు చేయాలని వీళ్ళకి ఎందుకు అనిపించిందంటే మూలంగా వాళ్ళు దీని ఆర్ఎన్ఏ వైరస్ జెనెటిక్ సీక్వెన్స్ కోడ్ చేసి ఇది ఎట్లా మనకి ఇన్ఫెక్షన్ వస్తుందని చెప్పినప్పుడు ఏంటంటే స్పైక్ ప్రోటీనే మన బాడీలోని కణాలకి అతుక్కొని సెల్లోకి పోతుంది కాబట్టి అదే ఫస్ట్ సెన్సింగ్, కాబట్టి దాని మీదనే అందరు ఫోకస్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో ఇప్పుడు సెకండ్ మనకు బలమైన కారణం ఏంటి వైరస్ కు వ్యాక్సిన్ వస్తుంది అని ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు మనకు మీరు చూస్తే ఇన్ఫెక్షన్ వచ్చిన వాళ్ళు 85% పీపుల్ మైల్డ్ అండ్ మోడరేట్ అనమాట. మైల్డ్ అండ్ మోడరేట్ అని ఎందుకు అంటున్నానంటే వీళ్ళ లోపల రికవరీ రేటు ఆల్మోస్ట్ మీకు 80% మైల్డ్ అండ్ మోడరేట్ కేసెస్ విత్ ఇన్ 2-3 weeks లో రికవర్ అవుతున్నారు. వాళ్ళు చనిపోరు, వాళ్ళకి పెద్దగా సిమ్టమ్స్ ఏమి ఉండవు. వీళ్ళలో ఏంటంటే ఒక ఇమ్యూనిటీ, 2 రకాల ఇమ్యూనిటీ, అంటే ఇది యాంటీబాడీ మీడియేటెడ్ ఇమ్యూనిటీ, సెల్ మీడియేటెడ్ ఇమ్యూనిటీ. 2 రకాల ఇమ్యూనిటీలు చాలా హార్డ్గా అంటే చాలా ఎక్కువ మౌంట్ అవుతాయి వీళ్ళ లోపల. విత్ ఇన్ 5, 10, 15 days లో ఎనఫ్ న్యూట్రలైజింగ్ యాంటీబాడీస్, ఎనఫ్ టీ సెల్ రెస్పాన్స్ వచ్చేసి వైరస్ కి వాళ్ళు వ్యతిరేకంగా పోరాడగలిగి విత్ ఇన్ 3-4 weeks లో నార్మల్ అవుతారు. అంటే బాడీకి ఆ కెపాసిటీ ఉంది, ఈ వైరస్ ని పోరాడి ఈ వైరస్ తోటి గెలిచే శక్తి బాడీలో ఉంది కాబట్టి దాన్ని మనం వ్యాక్సిన్ తయారీలో ఎలా వినియోగించుకోగలుగుతాము అనేది ఇప్పుడు దీని మెయిన్ ప్రిమిస్ అనమాట. అంటే ఈ ప్రిమిస్ ఈ డెడ్ వైరస్ పార్టికల్ ఇంట్రొడ్యూస్ చేయడం కానీ, స్పైక్ ప్రోటీన్ లాంటి ఎంఆర్ఎన్ఏ ఇంట్రొడ్యూస్ చేయడం కానీ ఏ రకంగా చేసినా కూడా ఇప్పుడు ఈ మైల్డ్ అండ్ మోడరేట్ కేసెస్ లో ఎలాంటి ఇమ్యూనిటీ అయితే మన బాడీలో ఉందో దాన్నే మనం మిమిక్ చేయడం అన్నమాట వైరస్ ద్వారా, వ్యాక్సిన్ ద్వారా. అది పనిచేస్తుందని చెప్పడానికి కారణం అదే. మనకి 85-90% పీపుల్ రికవర్ అవుతున్నారు కాబట్టి ఆ రికవరీ యాంటీబాడీస్, సెల్ మీడియేటెడ్ ఇమ్యూనిటీ ద్వారానే సాధ్యమవుతుంది. కాబట్టి వైరస్ వ్యాక్సిన్ రావడం అనేది సత్యం. అంటే అది ఎంత పర్సెంటేజ్ పనిచేస్తుంది అనేది మనం చెప్పలేము అనమాట. సో రెండవది ఏంటంటే అందరికీ వ్యాక్సిన్ పనిచేస్తుందా అంటే చేయదు. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు 5% మోర్టాలిటీ ఉందన్నమాట. 5% మోర్టాలిటీ ఎవరిలో? ప్రీ ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ కండిషన్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళలో, ఏజ్డ్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళలో, ఎనఫ్ మౌంటింగ్ కెపాసిటీ లేని వాళ్ళలో. మీరు చూస్తే ఐసీయూ ఉన్న వాళ్ళు, వెంటిలేషన్ మీద ఉన్న వాళ్ళు, సో వాళ్ళలో జబ్బు సివియారిటీ ఎక్కువ ఉంది, వైరల్ లోడ్ ఎక్కువ ఉంది, వాళ్ళు ఈ వైరస్ కి ఎనఫ్ న్యూట్రలైజింగ్ యాంటీబాడీస్ కానీ టీ సెల్స్ కానీ ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేసే కెపాసిటీ లేదు కాబట్టి వాళ్ళు 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks వెంటిలేషన్ మీద ఉండి చివరికి ప్రాణాలు వదిలిపెట్టాల్సిన సమయం వస్తుంది. సో వాళ్ళ లోపల ఏంటంటే ఈ ఇమ్యూనిటీ కెపాసిటీ తక్కువ ఉంటుంది ఇన్హెరెంట్ గా. సో వాళ్ళకి ఈ వ్యాక్సిన్ పనిచేసే అంతగా ఉండే ప్రయత్నం లేదు. మీరు మల్టిపుల్ బూస్టర్స్ ఇచ్చినా కూడా చేస్తుందా అంటే దానికి విగరస్ గా ప్రయోగాలు చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకు మొదటి తేలింది ఏంటంటే వ్యాక్సిన్ సాధ్యమే అనేది తేలింది అనమాట. ఇప్పుడు రెండవది ఏంటంటే అందరూ ఎటు పరిగెడుతున్నారు. సో ఇప్పుడు 160 పైచిలకు వ్యాక్సిన్స్ టెస్టింగ్ లో ఉన్నాయి అంటే నేను మొదట్లోనే వ్యాసాలు రాశాను అనమాట. జూలై 6th రోజు ఇండియన్ ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ లో నా కాలం వచ్చింది అనమాట. అంటే సైంటిఫిక్ రేస్ ఫర్ వ్యాక్సిన్స్ అండ్ యాంటీవైరల్ మెడిసిన్స్ అని చెప్పి అందులో నేను క్లియర్ గా రాశాను అనమాట. అది నియర్లీ ఫుల్ పేజ్ కాలం అనమాట, 3,500 words. సో అందులో క్లియర్ గా చెప్పాను అనమాట. 160 వ్యాక్సిన్స్ ఇప్పుడు ప్రపంచంలో ఎర్లీ టెస్టింగ్ లో ఉంటే అందులో 18 మాత్రమే phase 1 చేరినాయి ఐజ్ ఆఫ్ యెస్టర్డే. 18 మాత్రమే, ఇంక్లూడింగ్ 2 ఫ్రమ్ ఇండియా. వేరైతే భారత్ బయోటెక్ అవుతుందో జైడస్ కేరళ అవుతుందో ఆ 2 కలిపి. సో 18 మాత్రమే phase 1 స్టేజ్ లో ఉన్నాయి. మిగతా 2 మాత్రమే చైనీస్ కంపెనీస్ చేసేటివి, అనుహో అని చెప్పి, తర్వాత ఇంకొకటి క్యాన్సైనో అని. ఈ 2 మాత్రమే phase 2కి చేరుకున్నాయి. ఒక 3 క్యాండిడేట్స్ phase 3కి చేరుకున్నాయి. అంటే వాళ్ళు సక్సెస్ఫుల్ గా phase 1 phase 2 కంప్లీట్ చేసి అవి FDA అప్రూవల్. నేను ఇప్పుడు ఏది మాట్లాడినా FDA అప్రూవల్ అయిన వ్యాక్సిన్స్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నా. వివిధ కంట్రీస్ లో వాళ్ళ లోకల్ రెగ్యులేటరీ అప్రూవల్ గురించి దీని కిందికి రాదు. సో ఇప్పుడు 3 వ్యాక్సిన్స్ ఏవైతే అడ్వాన్స్ స్టేజ్కి ఉన్నాయో అవి ఏంటంటే 3. ఒకటి ఆక్స్ఫర్డ్ యూనివర్సిటీ వాళ్ళు యూకేలో తయారు చేసి ఆస్ట్రాజెనెకా తోటి కొలాబరేట్ చేసిన వ్యాక్సిన్ ఇప్పుడు phase 3కి ఎంటర్ అవుతుంది. సెకండ్ ఏంటంటే మోడర్నా అనే కంపెనీ, అమెరికన్ కంపెనీ, వాళ్ళది కూడా phase 2 కంప్లీట్ అయ్యి phase 3 ఎంటర్ అవుతుంది. మూడవది పెద్ద గొప్ప ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ లేకపోయినా కూడా చైనీస్ వ్యాక్సిన్ కంపెనీ సైనోవాక్ బయోటెక్ అనేది కరోనా వ్యాక్ పేరు మీద వాళ్ళు ఒకటి తీస్తున్నారు, వాళ్ళది కూడా phase 3కి వస్తుంది. సో ఇప్పుడు ఈ 3 వ్యాక్సిన్స్ ఇప్పుడు మనకు phase 3 ఈ జూలైలో, ఫస్ట్ ఆక్స్ఫర్డ్ వాళ్ళది జూలైలో స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది, మోడర్నా వాళ్ళది ఆగస్టులో స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. ఆ చైనీస్ కంపెనీ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందో వాళ్ళు చెప్పలేదు. సో ముఖ్యంగా ఈ 2 కంపెనీ మీద ఫోకస్ చేస్తే, ఈ మోడర్నా కంపెనీ వాళ్ళది mRNA వ్యాక్సిన్, తర్వాత ఈ ఆక్స్ఫర్డ్ వాళ్ళది అది వెక్టార్ మీడియేటెడ్ అడినో వైరస్ వెక్టార్ మీడియేటెడ్ వ్యాక్సిన్. సో ఈ 2 నెక్స్ట్ జనరేషన్ ఆఫ్ వ్యాక్సిన్స్ కింద వస్తాయి అనమాట. ఇప్పుడు ఈ చైనీస్ కంపెనీదేమో ఓల్ ఇన్యాక్టివేటెడ్ వైరస్. సో ఇప్పుడు వివిధ రకాల స్ట్రాటజీస్ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నారు ఈ బాడీలోని ఇమ్యూనిటీని బూస్ట్ చేయడానికి. 2 రకాల ఇమ్యూనిటీని మాత్రమే మనం బాడీలో బూస్ట్ చేయగలుగుతాం. ఒకటి ఏంటంటే న్యూట్రలైజింగ్ యాంటీబాడీస్, IgG అంటాం మనం మెడికల్ టర్మ్స్ లో. ఈ IgG అనేది మనకు ఎనీవేర్ 1-2 weeks లో ప్రొడ్యూస్ అయ్యే వ్యాక్సిన్స్. మేము మినిమం 2 weeks పడుతుంది అవి ప్రొడ్యూస్ కావాలంటే. అవి వాటికి న్యూట్రలైజింగ్ కెపాసిటీ ఉంటుంది. అయితే ఎంత డోస్ ఇవ్వాలి, అది ఈ ప్లాట్ఫామ్ ఏంది, వీటి ద్వారా ఇది ఎంత టైం పడుతుంది, ఒకవేళ న్యూట్రలైజింగ్ యాంటీబాడీస్ T-cell రెస్పాన్స్ మనకు వస్తే అవి మనకు ఫ్యూచర్ లో కరోనా వైరస్ మన బాడీలో ఎంటర్ అయినప్పుడు సక్సెస్ఫుల్ గా ఫైట్ చేయగలుగుతాయా, అసలు ఎన్ని రోజులు చేయగలుగుతాయి, యంగర్స్ లో ఎట్లా చేస్తాయి, అడల్ట్స్ లో ఎట్లా చేస్తాయి, వృద్ధులలో ఎట్లా చేస్తాయి, ప్రెగ్నెంట్ ఉమెన్ లో ఎట్లా చేస్తాయి. సో ఈ ప్రయోగాలు అనేది చాలా క్లిష్టమైన ప్రయోగాలు. ఇవి మనం ఎంత వేగవంతం చేసినా కూడా ఎంత లేదైనా 6 నెలల నుంచి 1 year మినిమం పడుతుంది ఒక phase 3 ట్రయల్ కంప్లీట్ చేయాలంటే. phase 1 phase 2 చాలా ఈజీ అండి. ఏముంది, 10 patients 20 100 patients లో 1 week లో కంప్లీట్ చేసేయవచ్చు. ఎందుకంటే phase 1 phase 2 దే ఆర్ నాట్ ఆన్ ఎఫికసీ. పనిచేస్తుందా లేదా అనేది తెలియదు కదా, ఊరికే సేఫ్టీ కోసం. అంటే ఇది ఇస్తే ఏం కావట్లేదు కదా, పారాలిసిస్ వచ్చిందా, మెంటల్ ఫజినెస్ ఏమైనా వచ్చిందా, అంటే బ్లడ్ ప్రెషర్ తగ్గి చనిపోయే అవకాశం ఉందా. ఇప్పుడు వచ్చిన వ్యాక్సిన్స్ ఎవరు చనిపోవట్లేదు. అంటే ఇవన్నీ సేఫ్ అనే చెప్పొచ్చు సోఫార్. అయితే ప్రాణాంతకం అయితే ఏం కాదు. సేఫా అంటే తెలియదు. ఎందుకంటే సేఫ్టీ అనేది ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఇంతకుముందు డాక్టర్ శివప్రసాద్ రెడ్డి గారు మీరు చెప్పినట్టుగా ఇది రెగ్యులర్ స్మాల్ మాలిక్యూల్ మెడిసిన్ కాదు, ఇది బయాలజికల్ అనమాట. అంటే ఇది బాడీ మీద పర్మనెంట్ ఎఫెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది. సో అందుకనే సేఫ్టీ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్, లాంగ్ టర్మ్ సేఫ్టీ అనేది చాలా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. రెగ్యులర్ మెడిసిన్స్ మీరు తీసుకుంటే ఏముంది, 4 half-lives అంటే ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఒక 1 week లో ప్రతి మాలిక్యూల్ మీ బాడీ నుంచి క్లియర్ అయిపోతుంది. కాబట్టి మీకు రెగ్యులర్ మెడిసిన్ ఏ యాంటీవైరల్ తీసుకున్నా, ఇమ్యూనిటీ బూస్టర్స్ ఏ మెడిసిన్ తీసుకున్నా కూడా, ఎనీ స్టీరాయిడ్ తీసుకున్నా కూడా బాడీలో 1 week కంటే ఎక్కువ ఉండదు. కానీ వ్యాక్సిన్ కదా, పర్మనెంట్ ఆల్టరేట్ చేస్తుంది మీ ఇమ్యూనిటీని, మీ బాడీని. కాబట్టి చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా టెస్ట్ చేయాలి. సో ప్రస్తుతం పరిస్థితి ఏంటంటే ఈ 3 కంపెనీస్ phase 3 ట్రయల్స్కి వెళ్ళినాయి. కాబట్టి ఇందులో 2 కంపెనీస్ కి అమెరికన్ గవర్నమెంట్ నియర్లీ $1 billion అవార్డ్ కాంట్రాక్ట్ అవార్డ్ చేసింది. ఈ ఈ ప్ర- ఈ ఈ ఈ సంవత్సరం ఎండింగ్ వరకు మీరు ఒక 100 million doses సప్లై చేయగలుగుతారా అనేది, అది కూడా టెంటేటివ్ ప్లాన్ ప్రకారమే, అంటే వాళ్ళు చేస్తామని వాళ్ళు చెప్పలేదు, ఎందుకంటే అది వాళ్ళకు కూడా తెలియదు కదా. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకు 3 stages తీసుకుంటే phase 1, phase 2, phase 3లో, సో ఇండియాలో ఉన్న 2 వ్యాక్సిన్స్ ఇప్పుడు phase 1లోనే ఉన్నాయి, అంటే మొట్టమొదటి దశలోనే ఉన్నాయి అనమాట అవి ఇంకా. సో వేరే ఇప్పుడు 3 అడ్వాన్స్డ్ వ్యాక్సిన్స్ ఏవైతే యూఎస్ లో టెస్టింగ్ వస్తున్నాయో phase 3లో ఉన్నాయి అనమాట. phase 3లో మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్రిటికల్ స్టెప్, అంటే ఇక్కడే అన్ని వ్యాక్సిన్స్ ఫెయిల్ అయ్యే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పటిదాకా మీరు ఏది సేఫ్టీ టెస్ట్ చేయలేదు కదా, ఓన్లీ ఇప్పటిదాకా చేసిందంతా జస్ట్ ఇమ్యునోజెనిసిటీ ఉంటుందా, అంటే యాంటీబాడీస్ ప్రొడ్యూస్ అవుతున్నాయా, సేఫ్ అయినా అని టెస్ట్ చేశారు. కానీ మళ్ళీ ఈ పర్సన్ కి వైరస్ వస్తే అది ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేస్తుందా లేదా అనేది ప్రూవ్ చేయడం, దాన్ని పైవోటల్ phase 3 క్లినికల్ ట్రయల్స్ అంటారు. అది హార్డెస్ట్ అన్నమాట. సో దీంట్లో ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు వ్యాక్సిన్ ఇచ్చిన వాళ్ళకి రేపు వైరస్ ఎక్స్పోజ్ అయితే వాళ్ళకి జబ్బు రాకుండా ఉంటుందా అనేది ప్రూవ్ చేయాలి. అది ప్రూవ్ చేయాలంటే ఏం చేయాలి, ఇప్పుడు ఈ వైరస్ వాళ్ళకి వ్యాక్సిన్ టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ థౌజండ్స్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్కి ఇవ్వాలంటే, ఇప్పుడు మోడర్నా కంపెనీ 30,000 మందికి ఇస్తా అని చెప్పి ప్లాన్ చేసింది. 30,000 మందికి వాళ్ళు వ్యాక్సిన్ ఇచ్చి వెయిట్ చేయాలి, ఒక 6 నెలలు 8 నెలల వరకు వెయిట్ చేసి, ఇందులో ఈ 30,000లో ఎంతమంది వైరస్ బారిన పడ్డారు అంటే పాజిటివ్ కేసు ఐడెంటిఫై అయ్యి వ్యాక్సిన్ తీసుకున్న వాళ్ళలో ఎంతమందికి సివియర్గా రాకుండా ఉంది అనేది స్టాటిస్టికల్ గా డేటా యుఎస్ఎఫ్డిఏకి సబ్మిట్ చేస్తే, యుఎస్ఎఫ్డిఏలో దాదాపు 50 నుంచి 100 మంది కమిటీ ఉంటారు. వాళ్ళు దాన్ని క్షుణ్ణంగా పరిశీలించి అవును ఇది సేఫే, ఎఫికసీ దీనికి ఉంది, ఇది ఇవ్వచ్చు అని వాళ్ళు ముద్ర వేస్తేనే అప్పుడు మనము ప్రజలకు ఇవ్వగలుగుతాము. అప్పటి వరకు వివిధ దేశాలు ఎలాంటి టెస్ట్ చేసినా కూడా యుఎస్ఎఫ్డిఏ రికగ్నైజ్ చేయదు. యుఎస్ఎఫ్డిఏ రికగ్నైజ్ చేయని ఏ మందు కూడా ప్రపంచంలో ఎవరు తీసుకోవడానికి సిద్ధపడరు, ఎందుకంటే యుఎస్ఎఫ్డిఏ అనేది గోల్డ్ స్టాండర్డ్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్. ఇప్పటి వరకు మనం ఇండియాలో కానీ ప్రపంచంలో ఎక్కడ ఏ మందు వాడినా కూడా అదన్నీ యుఎస్ఎఫ్డిఏ అప్రూవల్ చేసిన తర్వాతనే వాడకంలో వస్తుంది. కాబట్టి యుఎస్ఎఫ్డిఏ మీద అంత నమ్మకం ఉంది. సో రీజనల్ ఔషధ నియంత్రణ శాఖలు ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో వివిధ కంట్రీలో, వాళ్ళు కూడా ఎఫెక్టివే, వాళ్ళ పరిధిలో వాళ్ళు చేస్తున్నారు. వాళ్ళ కంట్రీకి తగ్గట్టు అప్రూవల్స్ వాళ్ళు ఇస్తారేమో కానీ అది ప్రపంచానికి మొత్తం వర్తించే అప్రూవల్ కాదు కదా. సో అందుకని చెప్పి ఇప్పుడు మనం దాని గురించి బెంగపడాల్సిన పని లేదు, ప్రతి కంట్రీకి వాళ్ళ నియమాల ప్రకారం వాళ్ళు చేసుకుంటారు. సో ఇంత క్లిష్ట పరిస్థితిలో ఏ సైంటిస్ట్ అయినా, ఇప్పుడు మీరు తీసుకోండి మా బిగ్గెస్ట్ సైంటిస్ట్ ఆంథోనీ ఫాసీ, ఆయన ఏం చెప్తున్నాడు, వైరస్ వ్యాక్సిన్ వస్తుంది కానీ ఎప్పుడు వస్తుందో చెప్పలేమంటున్నాడు, అంటే కాన్షియస్లీ ఆప్టిమిస్టిక్. సో నేను రాసిన వ్యాసంలో కూడా అదే చెప్పాను, కాన్షియస్లీ ఆప్టిమిస్ట్. అంటే ఎంత లేదైనా 6 months 12 months 18 months వరకు పట్టొచ్చు. 18 months ఎందుకు టైం అంటే, ఒకటి ఈ phase 3 కంప్లీట్ చేయాలి, డేటా ఎవాల్యుయేట్ చేయాలి అండ్ అప్రూవల్ చేయాలి, రెండవది ప్రొడక్షన్ కెపాసిటీ. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకు నియర్లీ ఎంత లేదైనా 3 billion doses అవసరం ఉంటాయి మన వాళ్ళకి మొత్తం ప్రపంచానికి ఇవ్వాలంటే. అంటే మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్, వ్యాక్సినేషన్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్ టేక్స్ టైం అండి. ఇప్పుడు ఇది రోబోట్స్ ద్వారా ఇవ్వలేం కదా, మనకున్న 7 billion పాపులేషన్స్ లో ఈవెన్ 4 billions కి ఇవ్వాలన్నా కూడా ఒక నర్సు ఒక్కరోజు ఎన్ని వ్యాక్సిన్ ఇవ్వగలుగుతుంది, ఒక 2,000 మందికి ఇవ్వగలుగుతుంది. సో అట్లా చూసినా కూడా మనకు వ్యాక్సిన్ ఇవ్వడానికే 1 year పడుతుంది అందరికి. ఇప్పుడు మనం ఒక్కలం వ్యాక్సిన్ తీసుకుంటే మనం బతకలేం కదా, అందరికీ వ్యాక్సిన్ అంటే యూనివర్సల్ వ్యాక్సినేషన్ చేస్తేనే మనం ఈ గండ నుంచి గట్టెక్కుతాం. కాబట్టి కాన్షియస్లీ ఆప్టిమిస్టిక్. న్యూస్ లో మనకి ఏ విషయాలు వచ్చినా కూడా శాస్త్రీయంగా శాస్త్రవేత్తలు ఏం చెప్తున్నారు అంటే, వాళ్ళకి ఫైనాన్షియల్ మోటివ్ ఏం లేకుండా, నా కంపెనీ లేదు, నేను హాస్పిటల్ రన్ చేస్తలేను, నేనేం పేషెంట్ని ట్రీట్ చేస్తలేను, నాకు ప్రాఫిట్ మోటివ్ లేదు, కాబట్టి నేను చెప్పేది ఏంటంటే మానవాళికి ఉపయోగపడేది న్యూట్రలైజ్గా చెప్తున్నాను అనమాట. సో మీరు ఎవరు ఏం చెప్తున్నారు, ఏ మోటివ్ తోటి చెప్తున్నారు, ప్రజలను తప్పుగా పట్టిస్తున్నారా అంటే ఈ టైంలో ఏది నిజం ఏది అబద్ధం చెప్పడం కష్టం. సో ఇది నిజం ఏంటంటే వ్యాక్సిన్ రావడం నిజము, బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద థింగ్. అది ఎంత పనిచేస్తుందో మనకు తెలియదు, ఎనీవేర్ ఫ్రమ్ 1 to 2 years పట్టొచ్చు వ్యాక్సిన్ రావడానికి. సో ఇది ప్రస్తుతానికి శాస్త్రీయంగా నేను చెప్పదలుచుకున్న విషయాలు నాకు తెలిసింది.
Definitely, I'll come back to you again. Dr. Chatterjee, now the ball is in your court now. What Dr. Sambareddy was
Yes,
very clear and
he-
cryptic
he-
also, very clear and cryptic. Vaccine, 3rd stage, only 2 vaccines are there, directly related to FDI, US FDI, and they will take not less than an year or two. And what are these happening in the news? Daily news. And
Yes.
how is that?
Actually, yes, sir. One thing, we have very deep concerns because coronavirus is not new. The attempt to bring vaccines against coronavirus is also not new. We have been trying for several years and we have failed. We have failed because of basically three reasons.
Yeah.
We have failed because of three reasons. They are, it has caused disease enhancement. Now, this is a very serious thing. When a vaccinated animal has been injected with the virus, the disease has exploded in him, causing very serious effects. So, this factor should be foremost in our mind. What will happen to the vaccinated subjects after they are exposed to the disease? Second thing, severe adverse effects have been noted in animal trials, and the vaccine has failed to protect. So these three factors prevented the earlier coronavirus vaccine from coming to the market. Now we are talking of the race to find a vaccine, and as if the public will be protected in this race. But let us look at past efforts to expedite vaccines. We can go back to the oral polio vaccine. It caused tremendous amount of adverse effects when it was rushed. It caused cancers, it caused paralysis, then it had to be withdrawn again. This was in the USA. It was known as the Qatar incident. Then let us come to another vaccine, the dengue vaccine. The dengue vaccine was similarly rushed. It was given in Philippines, and we know that when the vaccinated children they were infected, they faced a dengue infection. They fell sick, and many, I think, more than 600 children died. They faced severe internal organ damage and hemorrhage. The autopsies were very, very drastic, and a lot of action was also taken against those officials who had given permission for this vaccine. Then we see that we do not have a proper vaccine against influenza itself. The vaccines that come into the market every year, their efficacy ranges from 30% to 40%. And last year, I think the CDC said the efficacy was 2%. So influenza continues to rage, and vaccines are given year after year. So will this happen also with the coronavirus vaccine? Because already we are listening to other Poonawalla saying that it will take 2 to 3 doses. Some are telling it will be an yearly dose. Some are telling even because in the other trial, the antibodies have been very short-lived. They are telling maybe a 6-monthly dose. So literally, this experiment is exceeding all other experiments. And as Dr. Sambha Reddy has so well pointed out, vaccine effect lasts lifelong. Even I am a vaccine, I have suffered vaccine injury, and I am suffering for the last 41 years. It is not easy to counter a vaccine injury because when the immune system is very important, it is a very important.
I think there is some disruption, Mr. Chatterjee. Just if you can set it right. Mr. Chatterjee, Jagannath Chatterjee.
When the immune system is disturbed, it is probably not possible to set things right. So if we are planning for a 15th August vaccine, then we have to think very seriously on this matter. That even natural antibodies will protect. So there are many issues which we must discuss.
I think the resound.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear now?
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, it is clear.
Yeah, now you go ahead, Mr. Chatterjee. There was a bit of resound in between. So
at which point, sir, so that I can again pick it up?
You stated that
Uh,
you two had
No, I was
suffered.
yes. You see, yes, I have suffered from a vaccine,
Hmm.
and for the last 41 years, I am struggling with that state of health.
Hmm.
So people should understand, as Dr. Samba Reddy has very well pointed out, that vaccine injury will stay with you for life. If something adverse effect happens, there is no good treatment protocol for that. You have to struggle with bad health, and there are several instances in the past where vaccines have caused serious effects, and even in the trials, in the rotavirus vaccine trials, we know that the government of India did not even release the trial data. So, if the trials are held in this manner, in this rushed manner, and even this 1, 2, 3 phase trials, they don't bring out the vaccine adverse effect. It goes to the fourth phase, the post-marketing surveillance. After the vaccine is released, we are supposed to keep a constant surveillance to pick up the adverse effect. But that does not happen. Even in the USA, they have a adverse effect surveillance system. But recently, a Harvard study called the Harvard Pilgrim Study pointed out that less than 1% of adverse effects are ever reported. And in India, we know that even if there is reporting, there is no action taken on those reports. Through RTI, we have found out that from 2008 to 18, 10,612 children have died due to government immunization program. They have also informed us that around 6 lakh adverse effects happen every year from the government immunization program itself. And they are sitting on that data. They don't even hold a meeting to see what is happening and what kind of adverse effects are happening. So in this scenario, we cannot probably think of a rushed vaccine that does the trial within a year or so. It is too less. Yes, sir.
Too less. Narsima Reddy garu. So how do you look at this scenario? Before I can come out with something which is sensational, you would like to have anything, because Samba Reddy is also there. What do you say about the first round?
I think Dr. Samba Reddy has given us a lot of details, and I think lot of information as well. But some of the issues which we are raising are still not answered. Of course, I'm not expecting it from Dr. Samba Reddy, because the question is on the larger audience of science. As I mentioned in initial stages itself, what is happening in the scientific world is something many of the scientists know, and what is being communicated to the people. Maybe good scientists like Dr. Samba Reddy are writing and trying to educate people, but on the other hand, we are seeing communication which is distorted and which only gives one-sided information, or pure jingoistic kind of information which is coming up. So, having said that, second is the experience. Even Dr. Jagannath Chatterjee mentioned that, and of course, Dr. Samba Reddy is also aware of it. The experience with the pharma companies has never been a rational, scientific, and social service oriented objective you could see in that experience. One example is we have seen in clinical trials. Of course, US FDA has a good name that it is a standard setting organization. But we have other examples in other sectors where US FDA itself has failed and has suppressed a lot of information. That apart, coming to pharma itself, we have a very big example of Ranbaxy, where a whistleblower has brought out data that I think from 15 to 20 years of clinical trial data, which was submitted including US FDA and various other countries, it is fudged. So the data, whistleblower himself has said that it is not at all reliable, but on that basis, number of drugs have been approved. And it was a big crisis in the pharma sector. Ultimately, they put a lid over it. So we don't know how many drugs which came into the market because of this fudged data and what are the impacts. I don't think anybody is studying, or if anybody wants to study, we know pharma companies can harass them, or they can bamboozle them not to do that research. So that kind of experience is there, and based on that, when we are rushing for clinical trials, I think if there is no transparency, and increasingly we are seeing false promises being churned out every day, definitely I think we need to question this research and vaccine trials going on with regard to SARS-CoV-2. So that's one point I wanted. Second, which I think Dr. Sambareddy is more qualified to answer because I have, based on my understanding, when all these 18 trials, he mentioned 18 trials are now at some phase, and at least 4 vaccines have come up to phase 3. Now, and one of them, all of them, of course, they are trying to, as I mentioned, that they are trying to trigger immunity response and antibody development. But there has been report in Spain, I think mostly Spain, that if the number of antibodies increase beyond a point, in fact, they can again cause injury to the body. So you cannot have the antibodies. I mean, there is a limit to the production of antibodies. I mean, that's what I understood. And thrombosis is supposed to be one of the side effects of that kind of antibodies. So this is one concern. And when trials are being done to produce antibodies or release of antigens or T cells, what is the long-term effect of this? We are already being cautioned that because of SARS-CoV-2 antibody response in certain types of bodies is itself creating further problems, especially in comorbidity conditions. So the very basis of this clinical trials is one question. I'm not completely on the top of what is happening there, but I have this fundamental question: how and when can antibodies can be limited by these vaccines? Are the methods which are being adopted either through mRNA or adenovirus or whatever? If that's not done, the impacts, I think that has to be mapped. And who is going to do that? Is it going to be done when vaccine is released commercially, or will it be done at the clinical stage? That's one question. Now, second, coming to India, test reports themselves are not reliable. And now we are hearing the methods of viral loads, virus severity, and what kind of virus itself is being questioned because TrueNAT studies and what is the other method, popular one. So all these methods, I understand, are basically they'll tell you based on either antibody production, then they'll say there is a virus in your body, or the virus effect is there because of fever or other symptoms. I have not seen a test which said this is reliable, because we have seen examples day before yesterday of a police constable. He underwent 5 times the test and it came negative, but still he was not well, and he finally got admitted to a hospital and he died there. After his death, he became positive. And we have seen a doctor in Delhi who again passed through 3 tests, and the tests did not confirm positivity, but only while he was dying, he made a video recording statement and said, "These are COVID symptoms. I know for sure, and I am positive." A doctor saying, he's a dentist, of course, but he said, "This is COVID, I know," and he died after that video statement. So I'm only saying we have other issues, administrative issues, why quality of the tests are not being done. But coming to the science part of it, we know for sure out of 100 people, we know for sure there are asymptomatic people, and there are people who could be symptomatic, but still they may not have the viral load. So we are looking at a range of situation, a scenario within each of the bodies. Now, when we are bringing a vaccine and saying universalization, how scientific and how rational is this argument? I think that I am trying to question, because tomorrow, without any positivity and any patient not being positive, and still if he gets a vaccine, what are the impacts of such vaccination? So when we are, and then of course Dr. Jagannath Chatterjee raised that double shots. I think now saying no, single shot is not enough. You need to wait for 1 week or 6 months. I mean some time lapse, and then give another shot. So again, the monitoring these kind of patients, as you said, 130 crores. How do you monitor these people and then give a double shot only when it is required? So I'm saying the very basis of the formulation for a solution of vaccine trials is faulty. I mean, that's what I'm trying to look at. I mean, that's my hypothesis. So I would look at how we can justify this kind of approaches. And third, of course, in India, we are seeing even before Corona and now through Corona pandemic, the responses from the two ways. One is the trials. Clinical trials, when they go up to phase 3, the issue will be about monitoring these volunteers. Now today I read yesterday NIMS have given vaccinated 2 volunteers, and the head of the team, he is on in the media. He said, we are giving them a thermometer to monitor their own temperature, and if there are any issues, they can come back to us. So what I understood was they are not going to be hospitalized. But I know another place they said that they will be hospitalized only for 24 hours, and then they have to go home. And from home, they have to report whatever issues they are facing because of those trials. So again, I'm not sure how standardized this process is. And phase 3, again, I understand the rescue treatment. If unlike other virus issues, there is no rescue treatment here. So phase 3, as you rightly said, phase 3 can be a big concern, and we need to monitor every instance of phase 3 very closely. but then where is the mechanism and how transparent is this process? In India, at least I have not seen. I don't know how US is doing. And Russia, of course, we know how transparent it can be and cannot be, and China. So all other places where these top 5 vaccine trials are happening, I'm not sure how transparent that mechanism is. So basically, there can be scapegoats and then suppression of facts, and probably we'll be getting a solution, probably. But then the rate of failure can match the rate of deaths because of SARS itself. So in that equation, if that is the equation, then again I will question whether we'll be having a solution at all. Why should we have this kind of solution?
Wonderful. I think Samba Reddy garu, you have enough on your hands now.
Yeah, certainly. I think thanks అండి రత్నాకర్ రెడ్డి గారు చాలా మంచి విషయాలు చెప్పారు. ఎందుకంటే ఇది టైం అలాంటి విషయాల మీద
Reddy sir, can you speak in English?
Yeah, certainly.
Speak in English.
Yes.
So, thanks, Dr. Reddy garu. I think that those are excellent points, because it is time to introspect the science of this COVID infection and the route which we are taking to produce vaccines. Are they safe? Do we have enough scientific background? Is the scientific premise strong? Are we bypassing any protocols? Are we really doing the monitoring they are supposed to do? These are all very, very important questions. And then the ultimate question is, who is developing this? Pharma companies. Of course, they are not charity organizations. They are not government institutions. They're not for public welfare. They are for their welfare. They have investors, they have shareholders. So they want to make money out of the situation. So don't expect them to be public servants. So they're not like professors or teachers, somebody doing selfless service. So that mistakes are bound to happen, because they might not get the data that they wanted to see, and they might not want to reveal anything that they find that is not suitable for them, and they might submit whatever data that suits them for approval needs. So it's important thing to make sure these SOPs, standard operating protocols, are in place. And then there is some agency to monitor them, and then ultimately these drug regulating authorities, whether USFDA in US or in the DCGI office in India. So are there enough people to monitor these protocols, and are they following all things? So those are the things that will make sure that these participants are protected. Otherwise, these vulnerable people, out of fear of infection, they become volunteers and get the vaccine, and then these vaccine can have their lives for the rest of their lives. It's a question of science here, and if we don't know the science, I'm telling, we're learning this. It's a new science. So when we don't know the science, so we go by assumptions. Hey, everything will be fine. That's a basic assumption. But what if something is not fine? So who is responsible? Are these drug companies sponsoring these vaccines? Are they going to take care of these patients and their families if something goes wrong? Is that in place? I mean, we don't know. I mean, those are the questions. I mean, if somebody gets paralyzed, if somebody gets untoward effects for the rest of their lives, these companies are going to pay compensation. And how is it that determined? Because as Dr. Nasir clearly pointed, even Dr. Chatterjee mentioned, the long-lasting effects of vaccines is a concern. Because you are giving these vaccines to healthy adults and children and everyone. These are healthy people. They have not been exposed to the virus. If they can stay away from the virus, they will never get exposed. They will never have infection. But if they are given a vaccine in fear, because of the threat that there is the virus, if that vaccine causes a problem, so that's a real problem. Because so far all the monitoring, the phase 4 monitoring, we call them post-marketing surveillance, that happens typically after the vaccine is launched into the market and enough people have been exposed. That is not possible at all in the coronavirus. So that's a good thing for the companies, but bad thing for the people. So far, as you see in the medical history of vaccines, majority vaccines are only for children. Okay, rapidly growing children, 1 year baby, 6 months baby, 2 year or 3 year old. And then when these children are growing so fast, it's very hard to monitor their health. And even if you take a malfunction vaccine is the cause of some disability, the pediatrician says, so something else. It is not, because the pediatrician is not aware that this could be vaccine induced. So as a result, in America right now, there is a sect of people here, they don't believe in vaccines because they think that vaccines are the cause of all the problems. Like, for example, the increase in autism, increase in the Alzheimer's disease later in life, increase in a lot of diseases. They don't believe in vaccines. They don't take vaccines. So that sect still exists in the US. So we can't force them to take vaccines because it's an individual freedom. You can refuse to take vaccine. So that's why I think there's an element here of safety. So who will absolutely make sure that safety comes is two ways. One is safety has to be based on the scientific premise. If we know how this virus spreads, how this causes the infection, and how we can protect ourselves, there is scientific basis. That will be a foolproof, and we don't have to rely on external authorities. Currently, we don't have that information. We don't have that full scientific knowledge of the various platforms. Right now, all companies are exploiting the existing platform. They are taking the whole virus and inactivating and injecting to the body, thinking that this will stimulate the immunity. So as Dr. Reddy said correctly, what if it over stimulates immunity? So that's what we call cytokine storm or whatever. Sometimes we call antibody mediated enhancement. It could even cause more infection, much worse autoimmune disorders. So those are very important. Some people are getting rheumatoid arthritis, a lot of problems, muscle, joint, multiple sclerosis, a lot of autoimmune problems. These are permanent. And these are crippling and disabling problems. And these happen years after you take a drug or vaccine. So we can't for sure say any link between them. So certainly following proper protocols is the first thing too. And the need of the hour is to accelerate the trials for sure. And monitoring should continue, and then there should be protocols in place to monitor these people. You give the vaccine and then send home to their village, and then you only monitor dead or alive. That's not a trial. I mean, if the patient never reports if he's dead, he's dead. But then there are a lot of subtle effects that you only find when you monitor them. So that's why I think phase 1, phase 2 probably are being accelerated because they want to move faster. The ultimate test is phase 3, which nobody can bypass. You have to prove that it will be effective, and that you cannot bypass. If you give the vaccine and send them to village, and then after 1 year you collect the data, oh, he's still alive, so he didn't get the virus. How do you know? So you never tested him. You never went to village and monitored him. Yeah. So all these, the data integrity issues are real. I mean, we have lost India's #1 company for data integrity reasons, that is Ranbaxy. It used to be our #1 company, built over 60 to 70 years, and overnight it was disintegrated because of the data fraud. So we don't want any such thing to happen. So we have to be vigilant. So following proper scientific protocols, SOPs, and consulting the experts, and then still meeting the deadlines, that's fine. You set deadlines. If you doesn't meet the deadlines, keep extending the study as per the advices. But bypassing or not reporting, and then profiteering, these are all the concerns, valid concerns that an ordinary citizen cannot oversee. This is a job that the regulatory agencies have to perform, and this is a job that advisory committees to these regulatory agencies, people, scientists, first-hand knowledge, who has no profit motto, should be on those committees. So that's why I think in my article I recommended universal vaccination through a consortium. No matter which company develops, it should be a vaccine given for free to every citizen on the globe. Okay, enough philanthropic organizations, enough government companies, enough governments can pour in money. So universal vaccination, so that no company will benefit profiteering. So a consortium should be formed of various countries, under scientific guidance, and then the implementation of vaccines will be done as per the health rules, so that no company can profiteer this. That way they have no benefit to bypass any of the protocols. So whichever vaccine is approved, they all go into that pool, common consortium pool, so that ultimately the public are assured, hey, it doesn't matter who is developing what platform, they're all available free, they're all available through a consortium. So all governments will be involved. Such an approach is humanitarian. That's the need of the hour. That way all of the safety monitoring, all these questions will be self-answered if we take that approach. That hasn't happened yet. WHO is trying hard, but there's a lot of difference in opinion, and then these companies will not make it happen because it's not in their interest, because they are there to make profit. But this is not time to think about profits. It's a question of our daily lives, our children, our family. Everybody is affected. Businesses, we may or may not be in business. So look at this situation. So this is a humanitarian crisis. So it can be solved through humanitarian means. That way, then we respect each other's opinion and we love each other, and that could be much larger solution rather than going nuts and bolt and monitoring the companies, and because that probably may not be possible for many small countries don't have the means of monitoring the clinical trials. So except for US FDA, which has hundreds of inspectors they can go and monitor, most agencies don't have. Even with hundreds of inspectors, US FDA still misses a lot of data integrity issues to the companies, because these companies and manufacturing scientists outnumber the inspectors. And they are, so as a result, no matter what government rules you put in, companies always come out with ways that suits their needs. So I think forming a consortium, making the vaccine for free, and then through this universal vaccination, probably most of the questions can be answered. And then the side effects and toxicity questions had to be scientific based. We had to wait until the results comes in and see what is the effect, and then give an option to the citizens. Hey, do you want the vaccine or not? If you don't want the vaccine, that's fine. We won't force. But then we had to give them that informed opinion. And right now we are not in a position to do that. Right now, any positive case, we are ostracizing them. Hey, you're positive. You should die. You're giving virus to everyone. No, we should not treat them. 95% of positive cases recover and they are healthy citizens. They are family members. So we should not ostracize them. And that's why I think the approach with which we are taking right now probably has to change. That way, then it will be more inclusive, more humanitarian, and then much broader. That's my opinion.
Wonderful. I think most of the things I'll go back to Narasimha Reddy later. Mr. Chatterjee, the second round, I think so many things for you to answer now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, I think Mr. Sambhareddy is doing an excellent job. He is explaining things very, very clearly.
Then he is not being allowed. That is why he is not being allowed to be heard by the world. He is not being allowed to be heard by the world for his simple logic and such a wonderful option. He says consortium of countries, and they should come in, because only that way you can have a safe and efficacious vaccine, and that also which should be free of cost offered. No company should take the profiteering out of humanitarian crisis as Corona, which has become a big pandemic. I think it has not left any country except for those China colonies, African countries, which I'll come back to you later. Yeah, go ahead.
So, sir, I think we should examine the little data that has come out of the Oxford and Moderna vaccine trial. So, in the Oxford trial, the adverse effects were observed, and they were managed with paracetamol, because as the document showed, that they could have progressed to corona symptoms. Now, this is something extraordinary. If the objective of a safety trial is to bring out the adverse effects, and if a person starts showing the adverse effects to give paracetamol and hide those adverse effects, then what is the need of a trial?
Wonderful.
Then, yes, this is very unusual. And again, what is the placebo? The placebo is not a saline placebo. The meningococcal vaccine is being offered as a placebo. So that is itself a reactive vaccine. So they can say, you see, this compared to the placebo, it is not much. So this is the cover-up that will go on. And we are given to understand simian viruses have been used as the vector. Now these simian viruses have been used earlier in the smallpox vaccine and in oral polio vaccine. Now they have been associated with diverse diseases like cancer, AIDS, and the oral polio vaccine has also caused paralysis. So these are serious issues. And in the Moderna trial, up to 100% of the subjects they suffered adverse effects. And these adverse effects were not minor adverse effects as their document says. They
I think your Chatterjee,
they
you maintain
these adverse effects can
one second.
limit your activity.
Jagannath Chatterjee, one second. You just
So,
maintain Jagannath Chatterjee, one second.
Hello, are you able to hear me?
No, that's what I'm trying to correct you. You just maintain that safe distance when you
Yes.
speak. When you just move because
So-
it's a mobile, you will get disconnected. So see that you don't.
Hello,
Yeah,
are you able to hear me?
very much.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Chatterjee. Yes, go ahead. We are able to hear you. Your picture is hanging because he's on fire now. Maybe his mobile also started.
And hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Mr.
Yes.
Chatterjee, I think you are on fire, but that fire should not engulf your.
Yes, now it has started. So up to 100.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So the Moderna vaccine trial, yes, up to 100% of the trial subjects suffered adverse effects.
Yeah.
And the antibodies, they had to give a second dose to of a higher dose to produce the antibodies.
Yeah.
And as we know, if you give a higher dose, the adverse effects will be greater.
Yeah.
And these mRNA vaccines, which is the Moderna vaccine, they are about inserting a viral protein into the cells of your body so that the body can become, according to them, a vaccine manufacturing unit.
Wow.
Now, this is a really tremendous statement. Our bodies will be converted to a vaccine manufacturing unit. So,
Every-
what do they mean by that? This,
every part of your
This is
body
keeping
secretions
our-
can be utilized as a vaccine tomorrow.
yes. And if the body constantly keeps on reacting like this, what will happen?
Yeah.
Because, as it is, vaccines cause a chronic inflammatory state in the body.
Yeah.
They cause autoimmune disorders, which, as Dr. Samba Reddy said, they show up after many years. And on top of this, if these things are done, like inserting viral proteins into the cell, they can change our DNA also.
Yeah.
And that is a concern with the Moderna vaccine. And they have hidden certain adverse effects, which I came to know from other doctors, that respiratory damage and vascular system damage was reported in that trial. And they are telling it is a very minor thing, But if 1% happens in a small trial, and if it gets converted to 7.8 billion people in the world, then you can imagine the amount of adverse effect that will be.
Yeah.
So this clearly proves, that as Dr. Samba Reddy said, that these companies are trying to cover up a lot of things.
Yeah.
And the people, they have an idea, the vaccines are only about inserting a dead virus into the body. But it is not like that. Vaccines contain a lot of other things. They contain adjuvant, they contain excipient, they contain decontaminant, they contain cells of various species, avian species, then animal, human cells also. And to maintain these, a lot of chemicals have to be used in vaccines. And it is this combination which creates problems.
Yeah.
So it is not about just inserting a virus. And the other thing is, do antibodies protect against disease? That thing itself remains controversial, because you can have a lot of antibodies and yet come down with the disease. You can have absolutely no antibodies and yet remain protected. So there are many issues here that we have to point out.
Wonderful. One paracetamol, a manufacturing body, then, as you rightly stated, the damage it is causing to vascular as well as pulmonary tissue, being a doctor myself, because when you say this protein which has got fascination towards such muscles and mucus layers of both lungs as well as cardiovascular system, God knows if it is damaging. I don't know. I'll go back to Samba. Let us make it a bit spicy and peppy now. It is very clear, gentlemen. Oxford University trials are hiding certain basic facts, because these trials are being done by pharmacy companies, not the governments. People have to understand. మొత్తం కూడా ప్రజలు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటి అంటే ఈ టీకాల ప్రయత్నాలు అన్నీ కూడా ఫార్మసీ కంపెనీలు చేస్తున్నాయి తప్ప ప్రభుత్వాలు కాదు. ప్రభుత్వాలు పర్యవేక్షిస్తున్నాయని చెప్పుకుంటూనే ఇది ఒక పెద్ద నెక్సెస్. ఇప్పటివరకు చెప్పిన దాంట్లో ఆక్స్ఫర్డ్ దాంట్లో కూడా వారు చెప్పినట్టు చిన్న ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఏవో బయటకు వస్తే కేవలం పారాసిటమాల్తోనే పోయింది అని చెప్పి ఆ ఆక్స్ఫర్డ్లో వారు చెప్పడం. పారాసిటమాల్తోనే పోతే ఇంకా మనకు ట్రయల్ ఎందుకు అవసరం, వ్యాక్సిన్ ఎందుకు అవసరం? రెండవది, మనం ఇవి డోసులు తీసుకునే కొద్దీ మన మొత్తం బాడీ అంతా కూడా భౌతికంగా కూడా మనమే ఒక పెద్ద మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరర్ అవుతాం. అంటే మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరర్ ఆఫ్ కరోనా అయినప్పుడు ఇక మనకు ప్రతి ఒక్క బాడీ పార్ట్ అందరికీ ఇవ్వచ్చు, మనం అంత దేవుళ్ళం కావచ్చు, మహాత్ములం. మూడవది, మీరు ఊపిరితిత్తుల్లో కానీ అదేవిధంగా హార్ట్ వీటిలలో కొన్ని డ్యామేజెస్ కానీ ఇవి అయినట్టు కూడా రిపోర్ట్ చేస్తూ ఉన్నారు, అవి కనపడడం లేదు. సో ఇటువంటి ఈ విధంగా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఎంతవరకు ఇవి మనం రక్షిస్తాయి, ఇది మనం అప్పటి వరకు చర్చిస్తూ ఉన్నాం. అందుగురించే టీకాలు అనేటివి టీకా అవుతుందా టీకాల వల్ల అంటే ఇప్పుడు వారు చెప్పినట్టు సమయం పడుతుంది. ఆ సమయంలో కూడా 3rd, 4th స్టేజ్ ప్రాపర్గా దాన్ని కరెక్ట్గా ఒక సైంటిఫిక్ మెథడ్లో మళ్ళీ దాన్ని అప్రూవల్ కూడా పెద్ద ఎత్తున చేయాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం అది కూడా ఉంది. అది కూడా పెద్ద ఎత్తున ఉంది. దే కీప్ సెండింగ్ మెసేజెస్, సో ఐ హ్యావ్ టు లుక్ ఇన్ టు దెమ్. సో అటువంటి తరుణంలో వెంటనే మనకు టీకాలు వస్తాయా అంటే సాధ్యం కాదని మనకి చర్చ ద్వారా చాలా క్లారిటీగా మనకు అర్థమయ్యేది. ఆ 2 టీకాలు కూడా రష్యా కానీ చైనా కానీ అక్కడ ఏమవుతుందో ఏం తెలియదు. ఆక్స్ఫర్డ్ ఇప్పుడే వారు ఇచ్చినటువంటి డేటాలోనే ఇన్ని వైవిధ్యాలు ఉన్నాయి. సో అమెరికాలో కూడా ఇంకొకటి ఆ 3rd స్టేజ్లోకి వచ్చి దాని తర్వాతనే 4th పెద్ద ఎత్తున మానవాళిపై దాన్ని ప్రయోగిస్తారు. ఆ ప్రయోగాలన్నీ కూడా జతపరిచి అసలు ఈ కరోనాను ఇది వేసుకుంటే, ఈ టీకాలు తీసుకుంటే ఈ కరోనా మహమ్మారి నుంచి మనం బయటపడవచ్చా, లేక పాపం ఆ వాలంటీర్స్ వి సల్యూట్ దెమ్ ముందుకు వస్తూ ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళకి రేపొద్దున ఏమైనా ఇబ్బందులు అయితే ఎవరు చూసుకోవాలి, వాళ్ళకు ఆ నష్టపరిహారం కానీ ఏదైనా ఇచ్చేటువంటి ఇవి ఉన్నాయా అంటే అది లేవనే చెప్పాలి. మనం ఒక విల్ మేక్ దిస్ రౌండ్ ఎ బిట్ పెప్పీ నౌ. ఐ థింక్ ఈవెన్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ గెటింగ్ టైర్డ్. All corporate hospitals cutting across the world, don't you think they have become laboratories for unannounced drug trials? I will add certain things. You already prati hospital, because there is no proper understanding of the treatment, whether it comes to India or for that matter Hyderabad. So you have to explain me. I will bring out certain things what world has been missing. Ivermectin is the drug which is touted to be has become the best medicine world over. Let me again repeat this for the world, entire world. Ivermectin in combination with azithromycin or doxycycline, because this is antiviral. Now they have taken it as a broad spectrum antiviral, and to combat the cytokine storm, antibacterials like azithromycin or doxycycline is being used. The main problem with the politicians world over, right from Trump to Modi, they are surrounded by such coterie who are being palm greased by these foreign companies. Even Boris, the Prime Minister of United Kingdom, has to come out and clean, has to report to the world as to what was the treatment given to him so that he has recovered, and we are happy. But all those admitted, they all died. I think I'll come back. Yes sir, I'll come back to you. It's a veterinary.
మీ వాయిస్ కొద్దిగా మీరు సైడ్ కి తిరిగినప్పుడు పోతుంది, అందుకే.
ఇప్పుడు క్లియర్ ఉందా? ఇట్లా కూర్చుంటే క్లియర్ ఉంది కదా?
మధ్యలో లో ఉంటుంది.
ఇప్పుడు is it okay now from if I speak from like this?
Yeah, this is
yes.
Right. Ivermectin Ivermectin was touted to be an antiviral drug, broad-based antiviral, and దాంతో పాటు ఈ సైటోకైన్ స్టామ్ when you administer such type of drugs ఇవి వచ్చినప్పుడు అజిత్రోమైసిన్ ఆర్ టాక్సిసైక్లిన్ ఈ సైటోకైన్ స్టామ్ను అడ్రస్ చేయడానికి వరల్డ్ ఓవర్, ఎందుకంటే దిస్ డ్రగ్ వాజ్ బీయింగ్ మార్కెటెడ్ బై మర్క్ కంపెనీ, సో ఇట్ హ్యాస్ గాన్ త్రూ ఇట్స్ patency rights. Now this drug is available at every hospital across the world. A small Vanaparthi hospital gaani Mahbubnagar hospital anni chotla unnadi ee drug ivermectin. ఇది జంతువులలో డీవర్మింగ్ కోసం ఇచ్చేది. చాలా ప్రయోగాలలో విస్తారంగా కూడా వైరల్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్స్ మనం రేట్స్ నుంచి మొదలు పెట్టుకుంటే ప్రతి చోట కూడా దీన్ని వాడి చూసినారు. కరోనా విషయంలో ఇది పెద్ద ఎత్తున పనిచేస్తుందనేది ఒక సమాచారం ఉంది. ఈ సమాచారం రాజకీయ నాయకులకు పాలకులకు లేదు. ట్రంప్ నుంచి మొదలు పెడితే మోడీ వరకు ఎందుకు లేదు అంటే ఆ చుట్టూ కోటరే వాళ్ళందరికీ కూడా ఈ ఫార్మా కంపెనీసు వాళ్ళకు చేరకుండా చేస్తూ ఉన్నాయి. ఈ నెపంతో వేరే వేరే డ్రగ్స్ మనం చూసాం. సోమాజి కూడా మనం యశోద కానీ ఏ విధంగా వేరే వేరే డ్రగ్స్ ఇస్తూ ఉన్నారు, ఏ విధంగా చనిపోతూ ఉన్నారు జనాలు. కానీ దీని ట్రయల్స్ ఇవన్నీ తెలిసినాక కూడా ఎందుకు ఇవ్వలేదు? డెంగీ కానీ ఎయిడ్స్, అండ్ ది బెస్ట్ పార్ట్ ఈస్ Japanese and I think even American also, I don't remember their names, they have been awarded Nobel Prize for their works because ఇవన్నీ కూడా bio theme nunchi they have developed this, and the dosage was also something which was very high it seems, but it depends on body to human to human. It was used in Pathanamthitta, Kerala, from where I am doing the show, just adjacent. 90-year-old woman walked free. 3 to 4 weeks she was suffering, there was no recovery. This drug was administered and she walked freely and healthy. They said yes, there were some deaths, but they were all because of pre-morbid states which a human was in. Maryland Research Center lo gani, and subsequently even Florida, I think even Florida also, even Florida lo kuda they have taken up tests, research, and they said this is more acceptable than any other drug అని చెప్పినప్పుడు why is this drug ignored? ట్రంప్ కానీ మోడీ కానీ ప్యూటిన్ జెన్పింగ్ ఈవెన్ చైనీస్ కానీ, is this because of this pharmacy palm greasing mafia which are there surrounding these rulers? Before, as you rightly said, we are going for vaccine trials, but what if a drug is more efficacious, it is going to save your lives and it is become generic now? Mr. Samba Reddy, this drug has become generic now because the patency rights have been exhausted by Merck company. It is available at a very cheaper rate. Ivermectin. Now the entire world, they have to understand what is happening inside. How are these drugs being administered to only VVIPs and they are recovering? Is it not true? Every head of the country has to come out clean on this, Mr. Narasimha Reddy.
Yeah, apart from the issues raised, I thought one is we are losing an opportunity. To look at the way, one is you raised about the treatment protocol which is gone awry. There is no protocol at least. People are using whatever they want to use, and there's no effort for standardization of the protocol, treatment protocol. But the other issue I want to raise is the epidemiological data is not being collected at all in India. So which would have helped, in understanding how people are getting cured. Because every state, when they are daily bulletins, you can see the recovery rate is somewhere between I think 80% to 90-95%. There is a recovery rate, and others are dying, of course. At least in Telangana, there is no postmortem, so we don't know why they are dying. They could be dying for any other reason.
Yes.
People are saying it is comorbidity, but again, because of lack of postmortem, we can't say
Mahesh
whether it
was
is
a young
comorbidity or
Mahesh was a young journalist, and the other day, Narayan Gaud, he's an army man, atta katta unnarannaru. He walked into the Somajigoda Yashoda, his body came out. So there are many instances. Raju ani వాళ్ళకి ఏం లేదట అప్పలగాడికి. He died. They're all dying declarations. And not only that, I forgot to mention, a country, a small country like Bangladesh, they said they are successfully treating with ivermectin. Their doctors have come out openly and stated, why not they take ivermectin? Why should they go for flavivir? It is a big failure. Remdesivir, what is happening? Where are the trials? As you rightly said, where is the data? All these hospitals, they have become a big pool of drug trials. And how are those in the higher echelons? They are all surviving. With due respects to every family, God bless everyone with good souls, happiness, and but how is that the so-called the downtrodden or the common human beings, they are made to go to government hospitals and they are dying. సామాన్యులు గవర్నమెంట్ హాస్పిటల్కి పోతున్నారు, చనిపోతూ ఉన్నారు. ఆక్సిజన్ లేదంటున్నారు, వేరే వేరే లేదంటున్నారు. మీరు చెప్పినట్టు పారదర్శకత ఎక్కడ లేదు. హైదరాబాద్ నుంచి మొదలు పెడితే అన్ని చోట్లలో కూడా. అదే కార్పొరేట్ హాస్పిటల్స్కు మీరు చూశారు, ఎమ్మెల్యేలు, మంత్రులు, వాళ్ళకి మంచికి బాగా కావాలి, వాళ్ళ కుటుంబాలు సుభిక్షంగా సంతోషంగా ఉండాలి. వారు మటుకు వారు పోయిన హాస్పిటల్స్ వారు బయటకు వస్తూ ఉన్నారు సంతోషంగా. కానీ 20 లక్షలు 30 లక్షలు కట్టించుకున్న వాళ్ళు వారు చనిపోతూ ఉన్నారు. ఒక ఆర్మీ నుంచి వచ్చినటువంటి నారాయణ గౌడ్ గారు కూడా నడుచుకుంటూ సోమాజిగూడ యశోదాకి వెళ్ళి వారు శమమై బయటికి తేలొచ్చారు. ఏ విధంగా చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్కు, మనం చీఫ్ సెక్రటరీ కూడా రాశాను మెయిల్స్, ఆదుకోండి వాళ్ళను అంటే లాస్ట్కు ఆ ఆర్మీ మ్యాన్ బాడీ ఇవ్వడానికి కూడా నేను ఈ మెయిల్ కూడా నేను వారికి SMS కూడా పంపాను. ఆ మేనేజర్ కూడా మిస్టర్ రామారావు 4 గంటలకు 10 గంటలకు ఇస్తే 4 గంటలకు కానీ రిలీజ్ చేయలేదు. అన్ని సంతకాలు చెక్కులు తీసుకొని. ఇది ఎక్కడ అన్యాయం అండి? అందు గురించి అంటున్నాను, ఐవర్మెక్టిన్ పనిచేసేటప్పుడు ప్రపంచమంతా తెలిసినప్పుడు దాన్ని ఎందుకు వాడతలేరు ప్రభుత్వాలు? మిగతావి ట్రయల్స్ చూస్తే దానివల్ల ప్రమాదమే ఎక్కువ ఉంది, చనిపోతూ ఉన్నారు. కాబట్టి ఇది ఎందుకు వాడకూడదు చెప్పండి నరసింహారెడ్డి.
yeah. So no, the data collection, why it is not happening even now? I think that's a big question because recovery rate is high. So it's obvious that there is a solution which is there already, and that solution we should bring out from the data, the treatment data, and it's a kind of trial, because we never knew about SARS-CoV-2 before. So I think we are losing that opportunity, and in the past so many deaths also by not doing postmortem. Again, we are losing information on what is happening within the body. So the question which is coming back and again is whether science is happening everywhere, and if science is not happening, why business is ruling the treatment, why business is ruling the testing, and why business is again ruling the trials, vaccine trials. So I think we need to clearly understand this and question the process which is being pushed as if everyone is working for the universal benefit of the people. I think it's not happening. We can see many of these instances where people are dying because of lack of treatment, and treatment itself is not properly followed, under treatment, over treatment, and all those things are not at all documented. And then the media, I'm coming back again to media. Media is completely either they are ignorant or they are sold away when they are trying to push these vaccine trials as if that's the only solution happening. So the narrative which is going, I think that dominant narrative, I think that is being questioned. Yesterday, on 20th July, central government has released a scheme, production related incentives to pharma industry and they are giving 6,940 crores
That's
as
it.
incentive to produce APIs. I think this is the benefit they are looking at. So the whole atmosphere is being built as if there is a need for the APIs in India. If you are talking of Corona, why should you require all other 50 APIs? There's no explanation about it. So uh, ultimately, what we are seeing is the same structure which has led to this pandemic is again taking control of the situation and pushing the same kind of solutions which they have been, pushing down our throats as if that's a solution. And every regulator, every democratic institution is playing along with that. I think that's the biggest worry for me.
Wonderful. So, Samba Reddy garu, I will end with you. I'll go to Mr. Jagannath
Sure.
Chatterjee. Let us make it more peppy. Mr. Jagannath, Dr. Jagannath Chatterjee, it is very clear the dices are loaded. It is a vicious nexus. Politicians, administrators, media mafia, I don't blame all others, but are those controlled by these pharmacies and their background media houses, and unfortunately the people and the marketing of these pharmaceutical companies. How do you look at this scenario now? Ivermectin is a small drug available at cheaper rate everywhere in the world, every part of the world. See the problem of Dr. Trump, because these are all modern day rulers now. They have themselves identified as doctors. Dr. Trump, Dr. Modi, Dr. KCR, and all these doctors, they don't understand that simple logic. When that drug is given, their patients are recovering. How is that these people have become blindfolded? You mean to say this palm greasing because of this vicious nexus? You leave out the vaccination trials, but at least the medicine protocols, the protocols which are happening.
Yes, sir. When you talk of a nexus, actually, Dr. Jacob Puliel, he had come out with a very hard-hitting article. He said that this is not only a nexus, this is a planned epidemic. Because prior to the epidemic, we had events which had predicted this epidemic, and even what steps should be taken, what will be the reaction of the public, how lockdowns will happen, how shutdowns will happen, how the economy has to be impacted, how media will report on this crisis, and how the second wave will come. That event was known as Event 201. If anyone goes on YouTube, it was held by Melinda Gates Foundation, by the World Economic Forum, and the Johns Hopkins University. That video of the entire event is there for everyone to see. They predicted a coronavirus epidemic on 18th October 2019. So everything was ready before the epidemic even came into being. So you see, this is the extent to which these so-called philanthropies, the so-called institutions, they are going to impose this kind of epidemic. And in this context, many have said even past epidemics were engineered. And we know that in this current epidemic, even Nobel laureates have said this virus is not a natural virus. So, sir, these issues like which drug should be used, which should not be used, they were also probably planned. As we know, and as you have said very effectively, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is advising Trump, he has a conflict of interest. He has a share in the vaccine pie. He has a share in certain drug industry. That is why he opposed hydroxychloroquine. That is why he says, I am cautiously optimistic about vaccines. So this, sir, is a very, very big nexus. And I am really sorry for the people who are suffering, who are unnecessarily dying, because other options are available. As you very clearly say, from the very beginning, doctors have said that a combination of cheap drugs of vitamins and certain other medications can save the people. They have said this from all over the world. And as Donti sir says, why are the postmortems not being done? Because after the postmortems were done in Italy, that they found out 99% of the deaths were due to other causes, due to other comorbidities. So probably we are seeing an epidemic that is being blown out of proportions because pharmaceutical companies need to profit.
Wonderful, but you forgot Dr. Bill Gates. You failed to mention Dr. Bill Gates, who has got so much of fascination for vaccines, and
Yes.
these vaccines are providing, my dear citizens of the world, billions of dollars to
Yes.
these companies. Kindly understand,
Yes.
start questioning. Now I receive another information. State Department orders China to close consulate in Houston. China vows retaliation. Wow. Another news before I go to Mr. Samba Reddy. A lot of pep into his. Sir, a small drug called ivermectin, it can help along with some broad spectrum antibiotics which are no ill effects, not that much, whether it is azithromycin or the other one. Bangladesh has come out, even Pathanamthitta, Kerala. Why is this drug not being trialed at all? Why they are not putting efforts to trial this drug when they are going for remdesivir 5,000, 5,500 in black, 60,000 for while they are purchasing. It's a small drug, easily available. I am told it is there in every hospital, every hospital. And I am also told this is developed through, because those two gentlemen received Nobel Prize for developing this from the soil. The beauty of it is, they said this is developed from the soil. Sir.
Thanks, Dr. Prasad. I think it's a wonderful discussion. So, I put another article, I think that was about a month ago, in April, 2 months ago. So I clearly stated that this coronavirus pandemic has given us opportunity to repurpose drugs. In pharmaceutical world, we call, because it's hard to discover new molecules right away. So we can try what is already valuable, what is safe and effective, what can be used inexpensively. So in the list of medicine that includes ivermectin. So the first medicine that came out is the chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine, and India is proud of having plenty of quantities. So I think the story started from that, chloroquine, and then it went to some newer drugs like remdesivir. Now the other antiviral, the favipiravir, and then so many other new ones. So there's always this thing that we have to remember: who is driving these trials? You and me as a doctor or a physician or a patient, we are not driving, we are not decision makers. Who is making these decisions? Again, pharma companies. If a company sponsors a trial, then only things will happen. Whether FDA or whether government, then even doctors cannot give any drug they want unless it's a part of a clinical trial or already is approved by the regulatory authority. So in this process, I think companies plays a dominant role, and companies can only sponsor based on their business interests, not necessarily what is best for the patient. So doctors don't have the liberty of giving whatever they want to give. So beginning, they want to give hydroxychloroquine, and there's the same controversy. A lot of drug companies are not interested in hydroxychloroquine, and President Trump demonstrated that a lot of controversies about safety, but he himself took and said, hey, it is safe, man. Look, I'm taking it. So he became an experimental patient by himself to demonstrate. So people have to go to that extent to prove that it's safe. So that means here systems are in place, but systems are in place based on the sponsor. For example, hydroxychloroquine is a now gone case because it's sponsored. I think they withdraw. They don't want to try anymore. So the ivermectin story the same. Anecdotal evidence may be existing that it's a broad spectrum antiviral medicine, it's a repurposed drug, but somebody has to sponsor it, and a systematic studies had to be conducted. So on April 10th, FDA said they're not going to give permission for emergency use authorization. So I don't know what data they have, but it doesn't mean that no other company can sponsor the trial. I think somebody has to come forward. If no company comes forward, government agencies like, for example, ICMR, even for example here at NIH in the US, they can become sponsors because they have government money to sponsor the trial and then demonstrate that it can be used, because it's a very inexpensive drug. If it works, why not? I mean, so as a scientist, we all advocate use repurposed drugs as much as possible because these are proven safe. Even if they don't work, one good thing is that they're not going to harm you because they are FDA approved. You use at a dosage where it has been approved. So don't make patients to suffer or anything. So, I mean, doctors have that liberty. I mean, on a compassionate ground, when patients need anything, they have that authority. I mean, that license they have, practice medicine, they can use the best ethics. The question is, they have to be trained. This corona treatment is only being administered only in corona COVID centers. Other than COVID doctors, no other doctor worries about it. You take nephrologist and neurologist, oh, it's not my specialty. I'm not going to bother about it. So as a result, the COVID treating doctors are becoming less and less of a population, and they are working around the clock, and there's tremendous pressure, and they are putting their lives at stake. So they need help, a proper protocol, a proper administration thing, then they can do their job. They're not researching, they don't have time to think, they can't even call their wife because they're all masked and things. So as a result, so we have to help the system, the COVID treating doctors with these protocols. So what works, what don't work. So these are all experimental basis right now we are learning. So as long as it is safe, I think it doesn't hurt to try. So that trial has to be done properly without hurting the patients. So what is hidden, what is not hidden, it's I think there's a lot of controversies. Somebody published a paper, a fraud paper, that chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine are not safe. And those papers have been proven fraud, and then they withdraw it. I mean, 3 doctors from the United States. So that kind of things happen, when there's a nexus between, companies and then hospitals and then these who are driving. They are drivers. The companies and the hospitals and these big systems are drivers, not the individual doctor, not the individual patient, not the scientists like me who are advocating how to do things. So as a result, I think the pandemic is teaching us enough. Right now, there is no effective vaccine. Okay. It may come in 1 year or 2 years, we don't know. Right now, we don't have a FDA approved antivirals. All the antivirals we are using experimental. They're like band-aids. For the patient who has severe symptoms, they can only accelerate the recovery. It's not going to cure, it's not a miracle drug. So sometimes for mild patients, you don't need anything, they will recover. The recovery rate is nearly 80 to 95%. So only the 5% who are severe, who are on ventilation, and those are the people who we are worried about.
Yeah.
So now, the closing argument should focus on preventive measures. Let's not depend on vaccines. Let's not depend on the antiviral. Let's not even depend on a doctor. You, soldier, every person become a soldier to protect themselves from this war called coronavirus war that's going on. So you be safe. Don't get exposed to the virus intentionally or unintentionally. Stay away from the virus. Practice social distance. Put a mask on. Be safe and follow all the scientific and medical principles. That's why, and the first thing in March 20, before even the pandemic became evident in India, I put out 10 common tips for surviving coronavirus pandemic. That I've been telling in TV news everywhere. Don't have to depend on a drug or vaccine. You can safeguard yourself. The first thing is follow the scientific social distancing principles, whatever that are advocated, good hygiene and hand washing and everything. So the second thing is, we have to have that faith and hope, because don't panic, don't go into anxiety mode because that will reduce your immunity. So don't panic, have a balanced mental state so that you will protect yourself and your family. Because once you panic, your immunity levels go down and you will become more susceptible to the virus. So anything to make you feel good, you do it. And always diet plays an important role in our fight for COVID virus. So what diet? Simple, balanced, protein-containing diet that promotes probiotics. Because our gut is a bacteria called probiotics that can produce lot of substances that have COVID fighting capabilities. So how to nurture them, not to disturb our tummies and stomach at this time. Eat only simple food, balanced vegetable colored food, and lot of food that contains yogurt, fermented milk like lassi, cheese, and those products are good for probiotics, and that will improve your immunity, and you will never need a vaccine or antiviral drug because you will protect from the virus if you have good immunity. Stress should minimize stress, emotional, physical, and mental stress, because that will increase cortisol. It will put you more in danger for the virus infection. No stress at all. Have a good sleep, because sleep is a good medicine, as we all know, for immunity. Stay away at any cost to alcohol. Not only damages liver, but it reduces immunity. And then quit smoking altogether if anyone is smoking, because you need to have a strong lung. So if you follow these two simple principles, one is stay away from the virus as much as possible. Don't let it enter your body. And secondly, improve your health by yourself by following the healthy guidelines, eating good food and all those things. By doing these two, you never need a vaccine or you never need a medicine. So you will safeguard yourself, your family. And then finally, one closing statement is, it is not as dangerous as we are all seeing in the media. I mean, 95% are recovering. Okay, so that means if anybody gets virus, don't ostracize them, they will recover. Only people who need help are the ones who are unable to recover. Those who have breathing problems, their lung is actively being damaged, they need oxygen. Those are the ones that we need to take care of them. Those with pre-existing conditions. So as a result, we have to spread this positive message. Everything will be fine, we will overcome it. So those who need help, we have to provide them help immediately. Those who doesn't need, they can stay home quarantine, under monitoring. Doctor can call them and they can take regular medicines. So that way we can save more lives. That way we can safeguard more people falling into the victim of this virus. And then, if we follow these simple principles, probably we can safeguard our families, and we have to survive next maybe 1 year or so until an effective medicine or vaccine comes in, and then things will become normal. So now we have to adapt this new normal. Call them new normal. Whatever we are doing right now, cautiously, it's a new normal,
Right.
and this will be the normal now for next 1 to 2 years. And
Yes.
those who adapt this new normality, they'll survive and they will not have much problem, whether business, job, whatever. Those who defy this, those who overindulge, those who don't follow these rules, not masking, not following principles, they will become victims. So time will tell who will be the victim, who will survive. So with that, I think I thank you, Dr. Shivaprasad Reddy garu.
But before I wind up, it's a very good safe protocols which you have given. But as a scientist, let me ask you one straight question. When Trump is going all around, take phenyl to kill it, because that is how he has been cutthroat, trying to safeguard his own skin now, because elections are around the corner. All intelligentsia of every country failed when the pandemic was happening. They were just in the slumber, and because it's the rulers who failed to come to the rescue of people. There is no proper public health care, as you rightly said. Prevention is much better than care. మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోవాలా ప్రజలారా, ప్రజా ఆరోగ్యం ఆ విధంగా మనకు అస్తవ్యస్తంగా ఉంది. నివారణనే ముద్దు. వారు చెప్పినట్టు భౌతిక దూరాన్ని, ఫిజికల్ డిస్టెన్స్ను పాటించండి. మొదటి నుంచి మనం చెప్తా ఉన్నాం. సోషల్ డిస్టెన్స్ అంటే మన సమాజానికి దూరమై రాబిన్ వుడ్లు అవుతారు. కాబట్టి ఈవెన్ WHO కరెక్టెడ్ దట్ టర్మ్. ఫిజికల్ డిస్టెన్స్, వారు చెప్పినటువంటి పౌష్టిక ఆహారం. ఉదయం పూట మీరు సూర్యరశ్మికి కూడా మీరు ఎక్స్పోజ్గా ఉండి, జామకాయ నుంచి ఆమ్లాలు అన్నీ ఉన్నాయి మీ దగ్గర. వారు చెప్పినట్టు దాంతోపాటు ప్రోటీన్ డైట్, తర్వాత నీళ్ళు, వేడి నీళ్ళు కూడా ఇది జనరల్గా తీసుకుంటూ ఉంటే పౌష్టిక ఆహారంతో పాటు వారు చెప్పినట్టు బయటికి పోయినా మాస్క్ వేసుకోండి. అవసరం ఉంటేనే వెళ్ళండి, లేకుంటే వెళ్ళకండి. ప్రాణం కంటే ముఖ్యమైనది ఏది కాదు. ఈ బయట మాటలు నమ్మకండి. అట్లా మిమ్మల్ని మీరు రక్షించుకోవచ్చు. బట్ బిఫోర్ ఐ గో, ట్రంప్ he says drink even phenyl to kill it. Why they are not experimenting with ivermectin? Don't you think Dr. Fauci and all those in and around, and Dr. Bill Gates, who always proposes immunization and vaccinations, why are they not coming to ivermectin? It's an easily available drug. Now Merck company is also out of it. Now it has become a generic. So before, I think that's the winding up.
In general, ante in any system, I think scientists and doctors, they're all always become advisors. I mean, it's the policy makers who takes the final decision, whether it's public health policy, whether it's any policy. So there's always this division between the advisors and then the administrators. So the administrator takes the final decision. And that's what's happening in the US too. I mean, scientists are advising their best advice to the government, but ultimately it is the government that takes the final decision. So government decisions are based on their calculations, not necessarily based on the scientific information. Same is true happening in India, same is maybe happening in our home state, Telangana, so everywhere. So that difference between the scientific advice and then administrative decisions, these are two separate things. So as a result of that, sometime what scientists give, that advice may become a bitter pill to the administrators. They may not want because that's not in their best interest. So that's a common thing that's happening, whether it's Anthony Fauci advice is being rejected, even NIH Director Francis Collins advice, even my advice may be rejected by my own friends or community because, practicing this many social distancing measures and all these are too tough to follow and everything. So these two divisions, I think I have to go hand in hand to protect, and then finally only humanitarian ground will bring them together. At the end of the day.
But as a scientist, let me ask you one straight question. Ivermectin is a proved compound antiviral, and it is less toxic than you compared with remdesivir, all the other things. Why not they try this? Is there any harm in trying this if it is going to benefit the humankind?
One could design a clinical trial, seek emergency use authorization from FDA. I mean, once any company or any agency proposes, hey, I want to do trial, here is my protocol, please give me approval for clinical trial, they can say no because it's already available repurposed drug. So somebody has to take that initiative, and then so I think it is still on the cards. I think it's not completely
because
rejected.
pharma companies don't gain anything out of ivermectin trial. As you rightly said, the consortium of countries should come forward because it is a generic drug available everywhere now. Anyone can manufacture. That is the reason why pharma companies are blindfolded and they are not allowing the rulers, whether right from Trump to Modi and everyone. When Bangladesh is effectively using it to save their own people, why not this developed country and developing country? One word before
the same thing. Yeah, as I said, a consortium had to be formed to protect the public health worldwide. And then right now WHO is one agency, but I think WHO is again being influenced so much that they are not coming forth straight away with the information that they have. Right. So from the beginning itself, they are deciding which consortium they want to try, which drug will form the so-called solidarity trial. So they are being influenced by a lot of these agencies, whether it's government bodies or big companies or whatever. So finally, for example, last month, a list of, I think, some 30 to 40 scientists have to write an open letter to WHO to declare that this is an airborne infection. Because they never told to use mask from day one. At the beginning, they said, you are okay, you don't have to use mask. Then later they said, oh, use mask. Now, finally, the scientists have to really emphasize to FDA, WHO, please declare that this is an airborne infection. So people should use proper ventilations and use masks so that they can prevent the infection. So that means they have to be guided a little more vigorously by the scientists. But scientists as a team, we are not independent people. We don't have a big voice. We have to really put a lot of effort to change the perception of the administrators and all those people. Sometime, we go with the time. Time will answer. Okay, if now we are saying it's airborne infection, we said that even in the March itself. Now they are believing. So time will answer most questions. That's why sometimes we don't go into that beating the dead horse again and again. So we tell our advice and then let the science will evolve, because science will self-correct. What is true will come out of it eventually. So we don't have to beat the dead bush again and again. So that's why I think we are giving, most scientists are giving their best advice, and then time will tell what they are projecting and telling will become true or false. Because again, all the scientists, medical doctors, everyone tell from their best knowledge to safeguard everyone. So whether it is true or not, only time will tell, and all of us are putting our effort into that, and then let's hope time will become in our favor, and then we get whatever medicines and vaccines that we need,
Right.
and will protect our families and
Done.
our communities worldwide.
Then
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. I think now let me wind up. So thanks to you all from United States of America, Hyderabad and Orissa, who have all joined. I think now people should become. Anything to you'd like to add, Narasimha Reddy garu?
Yeah, one point I thought,
Yeah, please.
you know, the three sets of things, you know, the disease and the pharma companies or treatment and then the regulation. I think these have been problematic for the past 20, 25 years. But in this case, I think the impacts have become much more severe and then social strife, you know, because of corona and the lockdown, millions of families are in severe trouble. You know, the domestic violence has increased, crime has increased, poverty has increased, and many people are now hungry because of this economic downturn. So the impacts are very, very severe. It's no laughing matter now.
I know.
You know, and unlike earlier diseases or earlier epidemics, I think the time period has shortened between the decision of the treatment or then the impact on the impoverished people.
Yeah.
So I think we need to be more serious in addressing whatever solutions are being projected.
Yeah.
And the context in which those solutions are coming. Unless we question that,
Yeah.
I think the problems are going to increase, and you can see the deaths, very pathetic deaths, and then the dead bodies on the streets, which are not being picked up just because people are afraid of corona. Even family members, son is afraid of picking up the dead body of the father.
Yeah.
So you can see the manifestations are very cruel and inhuman. And in these conditions, if we are not questioning the process which has led to these conditions, I think we'll be failing in our duty as humans. So I think we have to continuously question them. And I feel the scientists and doctors have to come out more frequently, more openly.
Right.
Like, they have come out, about airborne character of the SARS-CoV-2. I think we need more and more such independent advices. Only then I think we'll be able to decrease or have some kind of, a rational approach towards the problems. Because we cannot continue to ignore this impacts on the social structures, on the production structures, and on the economy.
Yes, that's a very good take of this discussion. As you have rightly summed it up, people are dying, people may die because of corona and the after effects of corona, as he rightly pointed out, with right from economic poverty to various other issues. If they are malnutrition, they will die. No other medicine or anything can save them. And as you rightly said, science has to evolve, science will take, a day will come. By that time, many innocent lives would have been, they would have been extinguished from this world, as we have seen from Italy. And as you rightly all pointed out, I have written to both ICMR, WHO and even Director Health here in Telangana. I have asked them the protocols and the details of post-mortem or autopsy reports. And I have asked them even to provide me with discharge summaries, if those who have recovered and they have gone back to join their families. Up till now, nothing have been given. I said even before lockdown, I said what were the protocols you followed? ICMR. I wrote to Mr. Bhargava. Nothing comes out. Everything is hidden. When it is public concern, when the public health of people is at stake, ప్రజల ఆరోగ్యమే ఇబ్బందులు ఉన్నప్పుడు అధికార గణం ఐసీఎంఆర్ నుంచి మొదలు పెట్టుకొని కింది వరకు ఆ పారదర్శకంగా జవాబుదార్తనంగా ప్రజలకు ఎందుకు చెప్పడం లేదు? వై ఆర్ దే నాట్ బీయింగ్ ట్రాన్స్పరెంట్ అండ్ అకౌంటబుల్ టు పీపుల్ హూ ఆర్ సఫరింగ్? This is the question right from the day one we have been raising, and whether it is US or India, whether it is Telangana. Telangana, we have seen how the dirty politics have taken over the health of the people, and when people are dying, nothing comes in the discussions except irrigation and all other things. God bless. I don't know. That is why my sincere appeal to all politicians and administrators, political doctors and administrative doctors, you do your job. Allow doctors and scientists evolve a policy. Now, if it is airborne, if it is being decided now, what about those innocents who have got affected and died? As he rightly said, being a doctor myself, don't panic. మీరు భాగోద్వేగాలకు మీరు గురి కాకండి అని చెప్తా ఉన్నాం మొదటి నుంచి. టీ లింఫోసైట్స్ కానీ మిగతా ఇవన్నీ కూడా వారు మీకు ప్రథమ డిఫెన్సివ్ ఆర్గన్స్ మీ బాడీలో, వాటి నుంచి మీరు బయటపడతారు. కానీ ఎంతమంది వింటా ఉన్నారు? వారు వినడానికి కూడా అధికారులు గణం కానీ, రూలర్స్ పాలకులు కానీ రోజుకొక స్టేట్మెంట్ ఇవ్వడం వలన ఏమీ లేదని ఒకసారి చెప్పి లాక్డౌన్ వల్ల అంతా పోతుందని చెప్పి మళ్ళీ లాక్డౌన్ కేసులు పెరిగే కొద్దీ లాక్డౌన్స్ ఎత్తేసి వాళ్ళు తప్పించుకునే ప్రయత్నం ఏదైతే చేశారో, ఈవెన్ we said it is flying blind. There is, until and unless you identify your enemy, you have a strategy in place. When you are not doing that, we said you are flying blind, putting the innocent people's lives at risk, and this is what is happening. No one is against, let me tell you very frankly and clearly, no one is against vaccination, but it has to be done in a properly organized way. Otherwise, it may become more dangerous than the corona disease itself. So before that, even we said ivermectin, right from Mr. Trump to Modi and all the chief ministers across. Why is that you are not using ivermectin along with azithromycin and all other things? It is cheaply available. It is already proved out drug. And why don't you try? What is inhibiting you from trying? ఎందుకు మీరు ఐవర్మెక్టిన్ వాడడం లేదు? ట్రంప్ కానీ, మోడీ కానీ, ముఖ్యమంత్రులు కానీ ఎవరు మిమ్మల్ని ఆపుతా ఉన్నారు? ఆల్రెడీ అది చీప్గా అవైలబుల్ ఉంది ప్రతి చోట. దాంతోపాటు అజిత్రోమైసిన్ కానీ ఇవన్నీ కూడా ప్రోటోకాల్స్ అవి ఉన్నాయి. బంగ్లాదేశ్ నుంచి మొదలు పెట్టుకొని ఇక్కడ పతనంతిట్ట కేరళలో. మళ్ళీ దాని తర్వాత ఎందుకు మాయమైంది అది? అది చెప్పాల్సిన బాధ్యత పాలకులకు, అధికారులకు ఉంది. రూలర్స్ అండ్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్, యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఆన్సర్ అక్రాస్ ది వరల్డ్. దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్ వీఆర్ డిమాండింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ యూ. అండ్ బిఫోర్ ఐ సే బై, ప్రివెన్షన్ ఈజ్ ఆల్వేస్ బెటర్ దెన్ క్యూర్. నివారణనే ముద్దు, కరోనా వద్దు. సో మీరు వాష్ యువర్ హ్యాండ్స్ very regularly and very clearly with a common normal soap. It will kill the virus. If you go out, use alcohol based sanitizers. Maintain physical distance. When you go out, you mask yourself. Even your eyes too. You have to listen to that because it is almost airborne now, as scientists are claiming it to be. And you maintain that physical distance. If it is necessary only, you should go out. Otherwise, you stay away. And you remember Dr. TSPR show. The trademark of Dr. TSPR show is Namaste, Adab and Hello. That way, you can maintain that distance. Virus will not spread. So keep all these protocols in your mind. ఆ విధంగా మిమ్మల్ని మీరు రక్షించుకోండి, మీ కుటుంబాన్ని రక్షించండి, సమాజాన్ని, రాష్ట్రాన్ని, దేశాన్ని. That way you protect yourself, your family, your society, your state, country and world at a large. Thank you, gentlemen. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.